16 says I just whipped your ass.
Yes! You just made the list!
Brock Lesnar.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name's Stuart Vine.
My name is Joshua Plummer.
So we're back. We're both of us this time. Obviously, we had a bit of a... last time we kind of couldn't do a recording together for obvious... You, Josh, had some... acting stuff going on, basically. We couldn't find time.
Yes, acting gig. I was doing a commercial. Ooh, there we go. Can't obviously say too much about it because of contract and legal reasons, but yeah, I was doing a commercial for a few days.
Yes, that's cool. I mean, as I always say, it's always one of those things that I'm surprised it hasn't happened more often when it comes to scheduling and stuff with this podcast, man.
No, we managed to fit everything in quite nicely. And with jobs like that, I know this isn't non-wrestling related, but with commercials, they see a lot of people, so the chances of getting a commercial are fairly slim. But on this occasion, I was successful, so that was quite nice.
There you go, happy days. So it was, yeah. So it's not like a situation we just like decided I can't be bothered to talk to Stuart today, so I'm not going to do it this week. So it had a reason.
Yes.
So people just have to put up with me for an hour. I think it was, of me talking about Hell in a Cell. So
they had to put up with me for about an hour or so last year when I was talking about the Hell in a Cell 2019 with The Fiend and Rollins, and what was generally just a bad show.
But
I'm pretty sure probably the podcast was maybe a bit more tolerable than the show, but who knows?
Well, we don't know. I mean, we can always. I think I've still got that up. Anyway, but yeah. So obviously we're listening to this. You're not obviously listening to talk about Hell in a Cell. Everyone check that out. Obviously, to go on our podcast. But we're here to talk about the final AEW pay-per-view of the year.
Which is odd when you think about it. When it's the beginning of November, it's like, oh, this is the last one of the year. Usually think it'd be like end of November or mid-December at some point, because their next one isn't until Revolution, which is mid to late February. Yeah,
I mean, I gotta be honest, I like that. In the sense of, I like the idea of just they don't have a lot of pay-per-views. Mm-hmm. How many have they got there? They've had what, 4 or 5 this year?
I think they have 5 big ones. So they've got Double or Nothing, All Out, Full Gear, Revolution. So another one. It was Fighter Fest was more of like a special rather than a pay-per-view, I think.
I don't count. I count that more similar to like some New Japan pay-per-views or shows where they have these shows that are in between, like the big ones we know about.
Yeah,
that's why I find Fighter Fest. It's kind of like just a show they put on, but it's not really anything crazy happens. But
no,
but I could count it. So that's what, 5. Yeah.
Well, mind you, like one of our favourites was NXT Takeover. How often does that happen? 5 times a year?
Well, it's very old school, isn't it? It's very like there used to be only 4 pay-per-views, so it's kind of nice.
Booking.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll talk about that. There's a funny line in a certain match that brought that up. That's kind of funny, but So obviously Full Gear. Obviously, it's one of those. Obviously, as it's the last one of the year, they kind of look like they really stacked it with a lot of really good matches that. And I know, in fact, you were looking forward to a lot of them going in.
Yeah, it was a fantastic card. It had the most anticipated tag team match in the last few years in the Young Bucks and FTR, formerly known as the Revival. The rematch between Darby and Cody. You've got MJF and Jericho, like master versus kind of student. The Omega Hangman storyline. I think there's still more to it, but we'll get into that shortly, that being the first match. Yeah, overall, it was a very, very stacked card.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the matches they were just like months of this like build. It's kind of nice and refreshing. But definitely the Young Bucks and the FTR was like that's been as much as they really try to push that as this thing that's like, oh, it's been because the Young Bucks are the best, and then all of a sudden FTR took over. It's like, no, basically FTR went on Twitter and basically and it's basically they make it as this big thing, but really it's a Twitter war that turned into something more. So it's not like they can't. I wish they would mention that, but it's one of the more. It's a match you've always wanted, and ever since they came to the company, been waiting for like months. So
originally coming to their aid, I think fending off the Butcher and the Blade, I believe it was, helping them out, and then they they basically started splitting the Elite up, so causing tension between Omega and Page and Young Bucks and Page.
Yeah, well, we'll obviously get to that, but that's the match. I think that, I think it was that, and maybe the, I was like looking forward to the Chris Jericho MJF match, just because the build was pretty awesome. So, but again, we're kind of jumping the gun there because we've got the rest of the pay-per-view to talk about. So, so let's get to it. I mean, I kind of do a thing where I kind of, as you anyone that listens to the podcast now, it's like as much as we probably don't watch the match, always like to bring it up as I always say, it's like admin, like just to, at least we mentioned it,
Yeah, in case some people weren't aware that there was a buy-in.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Or in WWE terms, a kickoff show.
Yeah, buy-in sounds way more, I don't know, maybe it's just because, it just sounds more like they actually, at least they're honest with us. Yeah. Like, so why you got the show? Well, we're just trying to convince you to buy the pay-per-view.
Exactly.
To buy in. I don't know. It's just, it sounds a bit more better than just basically saying, we're kicking off the show. So,
Yeah, and it fits the theme, well, especially fits the theme with Double or Nothing and All Out, them being, gambling terms, casinos. So it's a buy-in. You're into the game. You're into the event.
Yeah, and it's just, it just feels like they're convincing you to do it, other than just expecting you just to, they're like most of the show, they're trying to convince you. You should probably buy this pay-per-view. You should do it. Come on. You know you want it. Come on. Mm-hmm. It's like a gambling thing when they're at like a casino. It's like, come on. You know you want to play a bit of poker. You want to play a bit of what with that. You know you want it. So I kind of always bring it up because obviously again I don't need to be convinced to watch it, so that's why I don't watch it. But so obviously originally it was supposed to have always Cassidy and Silver, but due to popular demand.
Oh yes.
That's kind of nice. I guess to listen to us. That's on the main show. So the only match we really had was an NWA World Women's Championship match. That's I got to be honest, I've been doing a lot of that lately with a lot of AEW Women's Championships been defending on AEW television.
Yep. You even had did we have like title versus title, but obviously none of the titles be on the line. Did we have NWA against AEW Women's Champions? Yeah,
we had, I think, was it last pay-per-view? Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah.
Was it Thunder Rosa?
Thunder Rosa.
That was really, I remember that. So, and I remember thinking that I was hoping it would last longer than just a match, but I didn't get what I wanted, so I guess...
Nope. In the words of the best friends, you got to give the people what they want.
I love that. But yeah, so I was talking about Selena Dean. Obviously, if you don't know, she's... you might recognise her from the Mae Young Classic a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. Or if you've watched WWE for a very long time, she was basically one of the disciples of the Straight Edge Society.
Yep.
It's crazy, by the way. I mean, that was really good. I don't know, when they brought it up, I was like, seriously, so the person they got randomly from the crowd and shaved her hair is now like, it's just mental. And I guess for me, it's a nice feeling. I was always like, I wonder what happened to her. She kind of just disappeared, and then now she's a pretty well respected women's wrestler now. So
yeah, and NWA champion.
Yeah, she won it on a. I had to look this up, so I have to. It's on a random show. I think it's called UWN Primetime Live. Mm-hmm. Whether that means I don't know. I think it's because I'm surprised that NWA is doing shows. Because I heard very troubling rumours about NWA because of this pandemic, about they might be out of business soon. But hopefully they're just rumours. But I kind of like the way they kind of at least AWA looks like they're trying to help the wrestling business as a whole a little bit. They seem to be like the idea of having like the NWA like kind of title depending on another wrestling promotion is kind of I like that. And it kind of like it just helps both companies out, gives them exposure. That kind of, it seems like I like that about AEW. So it feels like very old school, helping out the business more than just their own company.
I think probably maybe Cody's had his say in that. He was big into NWA. Obviously, his dad worked a lot with the NWA. So that title is very prestigious, and he wants to keep that brand alive, pretty much, as those NWA shows aren't going on at the moment.
I know, because I really was enjoying that NWA Power stuff that was on. I think they were on YouTube for now. That was like, I don't know how to describe that. It's just really good. So yeah, just kind of like, I think they seem to be, because a lot of the stars from that have gone to AEW. Like, also Eddie Kingston in the main event. He was a big star at the opening of that.
Yeah. That's one of the first times I think I'd heard of Eddie Kingston was actually on NWA Power, where he cuts a promo about, basically defending his friend Homicide. They're talking shit about his friend, and Homicide is a close dear friend of him, and Shoot, Eddie Kingston tried to commit suicide, but had it not been for Homicide, but fortunately that wasn't the case. That's why he's still here today, and Eddie Kingston is one of the best on the mic at the moment.
Oh yes, we'll talk about that when we get into the main event, because I've already said before, but I'm loving that promo they did. That thing, the go home show was brilliant. So, but yeah, I just thought bring up, obviously Selena Dean defeat Allysin Cade, one of the former champions. Is it before we looked up before, it's like 10 minutes. I think it's like 10 minutes, like, quick match. It seems like it was, it was just a good, competent match, but I kind of like the idea that, or was it? Might have been a situation where Thunder Rosa, I think, returned. Maybe. I have
no idea. I hands up, I didn't watch the show. I didn't watch the buy-in.
Fair enough. I mean, I just saw something briefly, so all I just say to people listening to that, if you want to skip to us talking about the main show, because we're not gonna talk. I just thought I'd bring it up because, again, the subject of the idea of an NWA title being defended on another promotion is kind of I like it, so I just thought it'd be interesting to talk about it a little bit. So anyway, but yeah, so as I was saying, so basically we just want to talk about it briefly. It won't be I don't really want to talk about the match too much, not because disrespect, just I can't really talk about something I haven't watched. So, but I thought I'd bring it up because So, but let's go into the stuff we did watch.
Let's do that.
Yeah, I guess, and that's why people want us to listen to us, I guess.
Shall we get into it?
Yes, or as the old Monty Python skit thing, just get on with it.
Get on with it.
Yeah, I use that a lot, but it's so true. But anyway, yes, obviously kicked off with the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament Final. That was a big mouthful.
What a way to kick off, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a tournament they done a couple of weeks ago. I think it was 8 men. I think there's 8 men involved.
Mm-hmm. Originally, Kenny Omega was meant to face in the first round Joey Janela, but Joey Janela came into contact with someone with COVID, so his tag team partner Sonny Kiss took his place. Sonny Kiss lost in, I think it was 18 seconds. So that's boom, over and done with. That makes Kenny look strong. Then he has a match against Penta, and Penta also had a few issues with injury. Well, his opponent anyway, his brother, Ray Phoenix, got an injury halfway through the match. So they, I think they had to change the ending. I'm not quite sure. But they're going to be having the rematch this week on AEW, which I'm very much looking forward to, Penta and Phoenix.
Well, I mean, the finish was that match was pretty much of that Dynamite was the match of the night by far.
Yeah,
I wasn't surprised, but yeah, the kind of what they did with that is they done a thing on YouTube, I think, where they had a backstage thing with, I think, Ray Phoenix, Penta, and Eddie Kingston, and kind of Eddie Kingston was basically convinced Ray Phoenix to give his spot to Penta, so. Mm-hmm. There is kind of that in there, but and obviously Kenny Omega won in a pretty decent match, and then got to final. I think was it Hangman Page had a bit of a tougher time.
He's having a tough time at the moment, isn't he, Hangman? He's got a lot of inner demons, a lot of issues. He's got to.
You could say that. I mean, how many times you've seen it? Even in the interview beforehand, it's like before this match, it was like he's always walking in with a bottle of whiskey or like a brandy or something like that.
Yeah,
it's just it's for me, it's kind of it's just going on the old like he drinks a lot because he's really nervous, and to be fair, he's kind of lost everything.
And it's not just nervous; it's also kind of like self-hatred. On the most recent episode of Being the Elite, he goes into Dark Order's office and he just hears them chanting, fuck Hangman, fuck Hangman. He just comes in, Dark Order really confused about what's going on, and then Hangman starts to chant back up again, like that to himself, fuck Hangman, like genuine. That's how he feels towards himself because of everything he's done.
Yeah, I mean, it's very very good long-term storyline in the sense that ever since he had that match against Chris Jericho, and he lost, it's been downhill from there.
Exactly.
Even when he was, it's kind of basically a year that he basically like have to prove himself, and even when he was with tag team champions with Kenny, it was always a situation where he was always trying to like win the match for his team, or kind of like he had to like kind of prove himself every night. So. And then obviously the whole bit with FTR, kind of like, you know, that kind of situation. But yeah, he's had a tough time. But again, I kind of like it because it's like you can trace it back. Well, not, I don't like, you know, I trace it back to kind of like a certain point, and it's refreshing to see a storyline that's kind of you can see slowly build, slowly grow. But yeah, obviously with when it comes to tournament, he done pretty well. He had a good match against Colt Cabana. It was kind of hard fought, but he won it. And then he went against Wardlow. They are trying to push a little bit. They won that match in a pretty hard fought one, but you know, won that. So, and a lot of people are saying into this match, or they're building up, it's like Hangman had the harder route to the final than Kenny Omega.
Absolutely, yeah. Hangman had to wrestle 2 matches. Kenny pretty much wrestled 1 1/4. You know, the one with Sonny Kiss wasn't really a wrestling match. It was boom, V-trigger, 1-winged angel, done.
Yeah, pretty much. It was just like it was them shocking things. It's boom, he done it. And some people are like, oh, okay, but everyone liked it because it's just like it's got again. Kenny's starting to go back to the sort of cleaner Kenny. You know, like the kind of Kenny Omega we love, kind of in New Japan.
Yeah, we're seeing a bit more of the cleaner on BTE. On television, it's very, very slowly getting there. I thought he'd be more heelish in this match. Obviously, he had the same kind of arsenal, those kind of attacks. But you know, as he would do, you know, spitting in the face, slapping the face, those kind of shenanigans. Thought to see a little bit more of, but it's getting there, slowly building. So they're both going on different parts. So they're both trying to redeem themselves, I guess. Kenny wants to return back to this time where he was the best wrestler in the world, and that was undisputed. Adam Page wants to. He's got a bit of self-hatred, but he will go on that journey eventually to a road to recovery and redemption. Maybe even eventually becoming world champion one day, or just reuniting with the elite.
Yeah. Oh well, there's certain bits at the end of the end of a certain match that kind of sees that they're teasing it a little bit. But yeah, I mean, honestly, this tournament, it was kind of when you saw Kenny Omega on one side and Hangman Page on the other.
You thought it was destiny, basically.
It was unless they were going to go really curveball here. I mean, I know it's you kind of knew that it's going to be Kenny Omega and Hangman and Page going against each other in the final. Again, there's nothing wrong with that because obviously, as much as some people say predictability is bad, it isn't in wrestling if you want that match. And Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page, I wanted that match. So
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, obviously we got what before we start again. Like before talking about matches, like what do you think about that? Do you like the kind of like over the top Kenny Omega kind of entrances he does?
As much as the entrance is a bit more of a refreshing change, and he kind of got the bragging kind of he did this, he's 7-star this, he's rest of the year this. It still doesn't beat the that music of what was it called? Devil's Sky, his New Japan theme. I love it so much, especially the Terminator theme. Just going back to that, it's like there we go. That's all I need. I'd much rather have the kind of attitude show it a little bit more rather than kind of letting Justin Roberts just announce all his accolades.
Yeah, I don't know. It's slow build. Again, it's like if anything proves they don't like rushing heel turns and they don't like rushing kind of character changes.
No.
I can understand why, because they kind of, I guess, and they can see in another certain promotion, as we all know, they do it all the time. 1 minute they're good, and the next minute they just turn, and then the character completely changes. Where it's much more refreshing when you see someone slowly turn, maybe.
Yeah.
But I guess, and it's just the impatience in us that we just want Kenny Omega to be like full on heel and turn. But anyway, yeah. So when it comes to the match, though, I mean, I gotta be honest, it's what an opener to the pay-per-view. I mean, it's obvious, and this is. I think they said they've only faced each other once, and that was in New Japan somewhere a couple of years ago. So this is only second time.
Dontaku, I think, yeah.
Yeah, only the second time these two have faced off against each other.
Yeah.
Normally that could be a hindrance because obviously I don't think they've been in a team, but I don't think they've may not know each other as well.
Yeah, there were. I think there was one moment which is very similar to, and they brought it up on commentary, the match that they had 2 years prior, where Hangman, every time he went for the buckshot lariat, Kenny would have a counter for it. And one occasion, just ran up before Hangman hit lariat, boom, just hits the V trigger, knocking Hangman to the outside.
Yeah, I mean, also you got a bit. Also, with same with Hangman Page, you obviously try and get the one winged angel, but obviously he knew how to kind of. He always kind of. That's the end. Obviously, he got out of it. So, a lot of. I got to be honest. A lot of the counters were quite nice. Again, that kind of bit when he was doing it with that V trigger looked pretty nasty. Got to be honest. I forgot how much I love those V triggers. Like how good they are. One thing I probably got to point out is when was the last time you saw Kenny Omega do that kind of? That was it jumping around moonsault.
The Terminator moonsault, that one, where he jumps over the top rope. Yeah,
I haven't seen him do that in ages.
Yeah, it was a staple of his matches in New Japan. Like even as a face, he'd get the crowd going. I mean, you could still do that in COVID era, just doing the claps if he was still in Japan. It'd still work. Yeah,
I mean, I think I was watching a match and I saw that. I was like, I haven't seen that in ages. Maybe that's a sign. Maybe that's just a slow thing, where it's like slowly moving towards the Kenny Omega we loved. In New Japan, because it's been a year of kind of being a bit meh, but yeah, it's a lot of countering, a lot of I mean, we've got to point out that power bomb on the outside by Hangman Page. I think it was like a pop-up power bomb.
Yeah, catching in there was a bit of a countering on the outside. I think they tried like a buckshot arrow over the rope. We'll try to carry him over. There was a counter. I think going for like another like power bomb initially, or maybe a Tiger Driver. More counters, straight boom, powerbomb right to the entranceway. That was lovely.
Yeah, I'm always. Maybe it's just because when it comes to power drivers, always irks me the wrong way a little bit. Because obviously it's a move that basically involves you basically dropping someone on their head, not on their head, but kind of near the area. Always makes me a bit unnervy, you know.
Yeah, that one looked. That one didn't look comfortable. That Tiger Driver looked very good, looked very effective, but that looks like a finisher. On anyone else, that would be their finishing move, but that's just...
I know, yeah, one or two of them power drivers in this match. I don't know, it just makes me feel uneasy, if you know what I mean.
Even the one with Hangman's, where he attempts it twice, the dead eye, so that's the one, he goes for the dead eye on the outside, which Kenny counters, leading up to the powerbomb, but Hangman hits the dead eye in the middle of the ring, which is a pile driver basically holding them behind your back pretty much, so you have no idea where their head is. There's quite an element of risk, that one. Yeah,
it's even worse. That's even worse. I think it's a situation where I think it's like there was a good little like back and forth segment, like kind of like counters, where it's like one was doing a German suplex, they landed on the feet, and then I think Kenny done it, and then Hangman Page done the same thing, then he countered it. I kind of like they were trying to do the whole like, okay, they know each other very well because they were a tag team for like nearly like a year or so, or like 6 months and stuff. So
yeah, like adrenaline takes over. So there's a point where Kenny Omega hits that dragon suplex, and usually boom, that's them down. Big old move, but Hangman, even though he's hurt, uses that momentum to pop up, boom, big lariat, and they both collapse, just exhausted.
Yeah, I mean. Again, it's one of those things. It's like, I mean, how long was this match? Like what, 15? I think they gave it 20 minutes. I think.
Yep, it needed 20 minutes. You couldn't do this match just like 10, 12 minutes. This had to be a good, solid, long opener. Yeah,
I mean, I think my first feelings of this match was the kind of situation of, I was watching it and I was just it felt like a match. If this was in New Japan, this felt like they would have given this 30 to 45 minutes.
Not as an opener, I don't think. I'd still reckon it would be like a similar kind of length. If it was a main event, for sure.
I don't know. I don't know if it's just me for the pace. For me, it was slow getting into it, slow build and stuff. And then as all matches started gradually getting better, and then just when he got near the end, I was thinking, is it going to be one of those matches where he hits the one winged angel and he kicks out, and it'll take like 2 or 3 to beat him or something?
Yeah, as soon as you hit the one winged angel, like unless I think Kota Ibushi kicked out of it once, but that's the most I think, protective finishing move out there. No one's kicking out of the one-winged angel, despite how much fight there was with Hangman Adam Page. I'm not quite sure if it was like a little bit of misjudgment there, but it worked really well because it looked like Omega was trying to catch Hangman double shoulder, couldn't quite reach him, and Hangman it looked like he was trying to avoid it, or at least trying to get into that position to help him out.
I like that. It's kind of worked on the story though. Kind of like
Yeah, it did. Yeah, trying to fight it because if soon as that move's hit, it's 1, 2, 3, it's game over.
And he did, and obviously did get hit one angel, and got the 1, 2, 3, and so he has one tournament and will be we would say, he is number one contender technically, but basically he'll be facing the AEW World Champion. The first time he ever has. Actually, it's funny because he's been in the company he's Kenny Omega, but they haven't put him in a title match yet.
No.
So they kind of like, because it's kind of restraint, I find. It felt they could have easily just. I know it's like the VP who kind of runs the thing. They could have easily put him to the. He could have been in that first match for the AEW World Championship, but they resisted.
Yeah.
And taking it into like now, so it's like it's been a year.
It has, and it's been a year since Kenny Omega and Moxley last went at it in that lights out match, which was glorious fucking garbage wrestling, as Moxley quoted during it.
Yes. So isn't that the match that got them fined because it was too violent?
I have no idea. I wouldn't be surprised.
It probably
there was a lot of crazy shit in that match.
So good though, so good. But obviously with the way it's set up, obviously Kenny Omega's going to go for go for the world title, and obviously a setback for Hangman Page. It's
another one.
It's a good story. I've got to be honest, it really is. They've really done it quite well.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see what they do with it. It's like if he's going to try and like maybe trying to get back into the elite, as you said, or maybe I don't know, challenge for another title. He might go for the TNT Championship. I don't know, but I don't know if it's just like they're really teasing for that redemption arc, because you would think if it wasn't anybody but Kenny Omega, I think Hangman Page would have won this match.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking they're really trying to tease it out, so eventually or maybe it's just until you get fans back. Yeah,
looking for that big payoff. I mean, I thought they'd wait, especially with the Bucks FTR match, they'd wait until fans were back in. I thought, okay, the first time all the fans back in, that's when we're going to have the big tag team match. That would have been quite fitting.
Yeah, but to be fair though, it's still a good thing. I really want to see Kenny Omega. It's like the Kenny Omega of old, man.
Yeah.
It's been too long. It's kind of the thing. I don't know if they were just trying to not. He just didn't want to put himself at the top of the cards, as it kind of shows that, if he's running a company, he'd be like, oh, I'm top of the card. So I think it's kind of done the same with the Young Bucks as well as Cody. They kind of make sure they're not like prevalent at the top of the card or anything.
Mm-hmm. Trying to make new stars.
Yeah, that kind of respect. But I said I've been watching a lot of 1 or 2 more old Kenny Omega matches at New Japan, and I'm like, oh, I want that Kenny back, man.
That one.
It's like, especially with please. So we got that to look forward to. But yeah, what an opener. I mean, got to be honest, I always believe that pay-per-views should start off with benchmarks, like matches that define what to go on for the rest of the pay-per-view. And damn, this did. Got to be honest.
Each match should be trying to top it. I
got to be honest, they did try. It's like when I think about going for the card, it's just like they kept trying. Every match was just like, just when you think you've that's the match, like boom, another match turns up and completely like blows it out of the water, really. But so I think a good match. Said 20 minutes, good length. I would have surprised if they had more time. They would have probably let it go for another 10 minutes. I would have 10-15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, they were talking a lot about the longer the match went, it suited Kenny Omega. He's kind of like the marathon man. Even because the matches we had with Okada were mentioned quite a bit, and those near hour-long matches or matches that were over an hour or bang on an hour.
But I mean, I don't know. It's just that they did bring it up, so
yeah. The longer the match went on for, it suited Omega. With his matches with Okada, Omega was talking about, Okada is the better wrestler, but I'm the better athlete. I can outlast Okada, just wait for Okada to get tired. And then he beat Okada twice in one night, and then also became the greatest wrestler of all time.
Oh, yes. Probably one of the greatest matches of all time.
Yeah.
I should probably go and watch that again, shouldn't I? I mean, it's always worth going back to watch that match. But anyway, we're not here to talk about New Japan's match.
No, we've talked quite a lot about New Japan. Let's talk about Full Gear.
I can't help it. It's a good. I like New Japan. But anyway, yeah. So I'm interested in what Kenny does. I'm interested in how they're going to kind of build it, because the way it's looking, it's like it won't get that shot until February. So be interesting to see what he does. Obviously, we had after that crazy, awesome opening match. We also had always Cassidy versus John Silver. As I said, we said in a buy-in. This was supposed to be on the buy-in, but
yes,
as obviously they are the best friends, as you say, you got to give the people what they want, and they wanted this match to be on the main card, and they did it, and it's an interesting story. It's an interesting kind of build. It's basically like, because of the whole Dark Order being involved with Stu kind of going against Cody, they were kind of getting involved in Cody's and Owens Cassidy's kind of matches, because of obviously. They're still not happy, Cody's had the title. So they got involved, but Silver, as always, being the kind of standout from that group, because he is hilarious and awesome at the same time. But I think it was their rematch, because they had a draw a couple of weeks ago, Cody and Owens Cassidy. So they had to have a rematch. It was a lumberjack match. And it kind of went to a situation where, as you expect, the lumberjacks basically went fight each other, as you do. That's how they do it. And then, and then obviously for some reason John Silver went in the ring and then kicked Owens Cassidy in the face, because
How dare he? How dare he?
What a terrible human being. But
What a heel.
I know, what a terrible person. So, and then it kind of set up the match that we have now.
Yeah, this match was, you look at the two names, you think, okay, two quite over wrestlers, especially for their comedic performances, Orange Cassidy being the lazy kind of layabout, hands in pockets, doesn't really want to wrestle, doesn't really want to do anything. John Silver, I warmed to him a bit more. I wasn't a fan of his to begin with, and then I've certainly warmed to him, especially when his work on BTE and just pissing Brody Lee off.
I love it, man. It's just especially, I think there's a bit when I think there's someone brought something on like a mirror. I think it was on I think in a mirror on the toilet, and everyone was like, "Who did it? Who did it?" And everyone's like, "Show me your hands!" And typical Brody overreacting. And then was it John Silver comes out and it's like, "Hey, why is everyone shouting?" It's like, and he's got his hands in red. It's like he did it.
What the fuck?
I love the way that the Dark Order is not this evil kind of thing. It's like it is kind of like a cult, but they know that it
is a cult that doesn't take itself too seriously.
No, it's funny.
They know what it is.
There's kind of respect, because we know certain groups that do take themselves a bit too seriously.
Yes, but this match was it wasn't just a comedy match. It started off comedy. It's great, cool. I think the match had a bit more potential to do some more comedic moments. So the hands in the pockets, very similar to that. The slow approach as he reached hands into his denim jeans, pretty much. Silver was going, "No, don't you dare, very, very slowly. It's similar to when on BT, Orange Cassidy was just pushing the Kool-Aid away like a cat. Just push it away. Don't you dare. Don't you push it off the table. Off it goes.
I love that kind of cut. I love that kind of comedy, man.
In the most, the most comedic heelish kind of moment, just, okay, you can put your hands in your pockets, fine. It's like, well, he's either going to do one of two things. Either just remove the pockets as he did, or, I don't know, something really stupid. Get the sewing kit and just sew his pockets.
it was beautiful. I loved it because, again, what made that was his reaction. John Silver was just like, no, don't do it, don't you do it, and it's just like, even the commentary team were going, why'd they just stop him? Why is he just shouting at him?
Yeah, just stop him. It's like the lazy kicks to the legs. Like, it doesn't hurt. What are you doing?
It's like,
which is perfect, because that's what Orange Cassidy wants to do. He doesn't want to do any effort, and he just likes pissing people off.
Pretty much. I think I've always found Orange Cassidy is the reason we love him, because that's who he wants to be. I want to be that chilled, lazy guy that doesn't give a crap about anything, but I can't.
Yeah, but when he does go, he can go. He's rapid. We had like 2 back-to-back matches similar with this dynamic. We had pace of Orange Cassidy. You see how agile he is, not athleticism, and just with hands in his pockets. Like, the character's lazy, but that is impressive. Doing that with your hands in your pockets. Whereas John Silver, when I think he came out like 178 pounds, not the tallest guy, not the biggest guy, but my God, is he strong.
Oh, do you mean, what, holding up Orange Cassidy with one arm? With one arm.
With one arm, yeah, he counters the, I think, Tornado DDT, squats him, then lifts him up for like a deadlift suplex, elevates him, boom, lovely. And just tossing him from the ring. If you remember that moment from New Orleans in NXT TakeOver where Lars Sullivan and Killian Dane are just tossing Ricochet across the ring, just very similar, just whoop, wherever you go, other side of the ring, then over you go again.
Yeah, but for a guy of John Silver's size that could do that, is just like even more impressive. Yeah. I mean, normally with the guys you're speaking of, they look like they could do that, no problem. But the guy is kind of like kind of small but really strong.
Yeah, very powerful.
But I mean, this is what I like about the kind of like certain bits of the Dark Order is it's like they're not, as I said before, they're not goons. They are, but they're not. They can go in the ring. It's kind of refreshing. Mm-hmm. And I think out of the Dark Order, I think like Silver's been kind of like the most standout, like in like sort of them, I would say minions or disciples or followers.
The Dark Order minions.
So it's like some of them you just think they just wear masks and but it's like some of them like can go.
Yeah, but the status within the groups as well. I think it's like 5 is like one of the lowest. They're going, oh, shut up 5, like no one cares about you. And it was John Silver for a bit. The status completely changes. Stu Grayson was one of the most respected members, and then he's getting pushed around all of a sudden. Now they hate him.
I've really seen him on telly for how long?
They're like a family.
Yeah, it's like okay. It's like I know I like you now, but I don't like you now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the status game.
But but this match, man, it's that bit we had the really cool like counter. I think it was like I think Orange Cassidy went to ropes and he kind of done spinning Hurricanrana. That's kind of like the way he transitioned into that. I think it was quite impressive. Also you got the kind of cool like kind of Slumdog. I always love that name, Slumdog Millionaire kind of finisher. Basically like a really cool stunner. Basically.
Yeah. You've got the strikes as well. So the knee strikes like to the head and a kick to the head, like very, very quick from John Silver.
And I think a lot of people everybody got the bit where I think his finish is called like the spin doctor, I think it's called. So you done that, and you think, okay, might be over. Okay, and then I like kind of like the ending when he's like he done that, and he's like, oh crap, couldn't beat him, so he's frustrated. So I like the way he kind of went to his mentor's playbook and kind of said, oh, maybe I can go for Brody Lee and hit his kind of discus clothesline. He tried it, obviously missed. Got Orange Cassidy basically done the orange punch and then hit the beach break that was, as you said in the previous match, is basically like a power driver from behind. That and got the win. In a match that, my God, surprised me. I thought it'd be good, but I didn't think it'd be this good. If you know what I mean.
I thought it was good. I thought it could have been better. I thought they could have played more comedic moments, I think. But they certainly demonstrated they're more just than comedy wrestlers. They can go, they're quick, they're powerful, which is really good. I like that. They didn't just get on the card just for being funny. They're very competent wrestlers and great athletes.
Yeah, I think I always why like WWE do that. They do that when it's like just put a match on for the sake of it. And in 9 times out of 10, it's not really interesting. But in this case, it's like this had a bit of story, but it's like it just this seems like a match they went, okay, we need the story match, we need the big highlight match, we need all these kind of matches. Now we just see the match with give two guys like 10-15 minutes and just let them go. And this is what this was, and it was brilliant. And I think both Orange Cassidy looks more of an awesome person than he already is, and I'm starting to slowly become a fan of John Silver. So.
Yeah, and John Silver doesn't lose any cred. I thought he might lose some cred in the Dark Order, but he showed a side to him like, okay, use that power, and that's going to become a factor in more of his matches.
I think the commentary did bring it up, like maybe he needs to leave the Dark Order to maybe succeed. Maybe I don't know if it's Maybe it's just like a slight remark on commentary, but for even them to bring it up, maybe there's a thing there. Maybe he loses with the Dark Order, and then when he does things on his own, he starts winning.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think that's what I like. It's like I think what he's got, he's good in the ring. He's mildly entertaining. He seems like he's kind of like the cliche crazy, you know.
He's good goofy.
Yeah, so he's actually goofy but funny. You know, like some people do goofy and it's like, okay, that's a bit awkward. But
the goofy goon who's very competent.
Yes, and I like that. I kind of like groups that have that. But this has kind of made me a little bit of a fan of John Silver. I might have to keep an eye out for him, or just watch Being the Elite, because apparently I'm missing out on some quality content now, I think. As always, missing out on some good stuff. So, but obviously Cassidy. Obviously, he was in the TNT title scene briefly, so it wouldn't surprise me if he's back in there soon, or maybe they might bump it up to the world title, maybe, because I think he's big enough star now. They bigged him up thanks to Jericho as well, really well, that he could probably go and have a shot at that title maybe. But I'm loving it. Obviously, Cassidy, they've done a brilliant job of booking him. I've got to be honest. I mean, the guy was basically that guy that can. We always thought he was just a cool guy that could put his hands in his pockets and just jump around. Just
shows up, makes a save, then goes home. Was basically the Flash Heart, the Lord Flash Heart of AEW. Show up, steal the show, fuck off.
Pretty much. But now, thanks to Jericho and every other few this year, they've bigged him up as this. They've built him up to no, this guy is pretty damn good in the ring. So yeah, I mean, I was just surprised. I was just like, I mean, it's kind of wasn't expected to be like as good as it was, But that might just be me more than anything else. But I just thought it was a good match. So, but yeah, I was talking about the TNT Championship, so kind of nice segue into the next match. We was talking about the I think it might be the first time this is the AEW TNT Championship has been defended on a pay-per-view. I think.
First time on the pay-per-view, I think. We had the tournament final. That's what it was. So it wasn't defended, but it was won on a pay-per-view. It was one double or nothing with Cody and Lance Archer. Yeah. So it wasn't defended. It was won. Yeah. It was the tournament final for the inaugural championship. Yeah.
But since then, it's first time it's been. Yeah. Well, it's been first time. You're going to say second time, but it's first time it's like had, a build up to it. But they've really tried to push it that this is a TV title. It's going to be defended on TNT. It's going to be any title change is going to happen on TNT. It's going to be a thing that's going to happen there. So, so it's first time. It's kind of defended on. It's ironic. It's the last time because obviously it's the last show of the year. So, but so obviously we're talking about Cody now Rhodes, not just Cody.
Cody Rhodes, yeah, and that got a nice pop, which was great. Cody Rhodes, yeah. It doesn't deserve it. It's his name. He's always like, it should have been his name from the get-go. But you just got petty people who's like, no, I'm not giving you your own name back. We own your name. Which is the most stupid thing. It's so petty.
They dropped it. Obviously, they dropped it last. I think down at all my kind of new show I'm doing brings it up. It's like they dropped it. I don't know why they just dropped it. So I kind of like it. It's like Cody Rhodes. Everyone was just like cheering. It's like, yes, you've got your name back. You did it. It was a nice feeling. But yes, obviously Cody Rhodes got against Darby Allin. Again, interesting one here. It's it seems like did you see that promo that Cody did after the main event of the Go Home show last week? Yes. I mean, again, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. Cody is gold on the mic.
Yes, he's very good on the microphone.
Some people kind of criticise him a little bit because it's like maybe not the most flashiest in the ring, like as others, but he could talk you into a building, and the guy is. I haven't heard a weak promo from him this year.
No, I don't think he has had a bad promo. Like himself and Eddie Kingston, who I've mentioned before, done the best on the mic at AEW.
It's definitely their strengths. And as you know, I don't know if you're the same, but I'm a huge lover of great promos.
But that's what they're there for. You need a good promo to sell the match.
I know it's a foreign concept to some people, but yeah, I just maybe it's because obviously it's no surprise. Obviously, we do a podcast and we like talking a lot, so it's not surprising that I prefer promo and promo packages. and kind of like promos and stuff more. I like good promos. I like good. So
Yes.
and Cody's definitely up there. But yeah, I mean, it kind of like about again the build up to this is kind of like Darby. He's cut Darby and saying TNT don't want him to be the face of TNT. Because of obviously who he is and how he acts. But again, it's kind of been a situation that I don't know if it's always been his thing, but I kind of like, I just noticed it now, is like he's always up in the rafters. He's always up there by himself. They've obviously took that from Sting.
Yeah, he's also one of the few wrestlers on the roster who is just a lone wolf, like completely by themselves. I mean, he had some help from Cody afterwards in the ambush. And he has some mutual respect. There's a kind of bond between himself, Moxley, and Will Hobbs, which went quiet for a little bit. They brought it back, obviously, this show towards the end. But he's got a few like allies, but he hasn't got like a group or a team. He's a lone wolf by himself.
So yeah, and obviously the really awesome face paint, as you know, because I think one Halloween, I think last year, I think you done the, was it Halloween? Yeah, you done the face paint.
Yeah, it was Halloween, and I Darby Allin retweeted that one, so that was quite nice.
Well, it's really cool. So and I'm not saying that as like a suck up friend. It's like, oh, we'll just say that because you're my friend. It's like, yeah, it looks really cool. So, but yeah, so
I was pretty happy with it.
It's good. Well, so Darby Allin's kind of like, the story is like they don't want him to be champion, and he's kind of been on the receiving end from like Taz's kind of like I'm going to call it an organization because it just sounds more cooler. Taz's organization kind of
Team
Taz.
I
was going to call Team Taz is kind of attacking him and stuff. I mean, the way I think it was on the Battle Royal a couple of weeks ago. I think I might forgot it. Where the way they put him in a body bag and chucked him over the over the rope. I mean, to top rope. I mean, that guy is. I mean, I'm surprised he's not dead yet.
Yeah. Well, he's pretty much half dead. That's why.
I mean, it's crazy how like the kind of bumps he does. I mean, I think I said it or somebody else said it once. It's true. I think maybe you said it, I don't know. But he's kind of the Jeff Hardy of our generation.
Yeah, I'd say so.
He's as crazy as him. So
he's the daredevil, but straight edge.
Even to be fair, they called him Enigma. So I don't know if they're really pushing it. So, but yeah, he's absolutely nuts, and I love it. Obviously, when these two have faced before, I don't think Darby Allin's beaten Cody yet. It's been a couple of draws and that, but I don't think he's beaten him.
They've had one draw in their first meeting, and that was the match where I think even Cody mentioned in the promo, I wanted the match with Darby because he was big on Darby, but TNT or whoever it was, they weren't quite sure about him, so he had to have that match for that 20-minute draw, and that's how I got introduced to Darby Allin as well, and that's how I became a fan of his. And then we had two other matches with Cody. I think one was for it was a quarterfinal, semi-final for the local TNT Championship, which Cody won. There was another match as well, which Cody also won. Darby had always title match opportunities. I think he's had 2 World Championship opportunities as well, like one Jericho, one against Moxley. He's come up short for all of them. So this one, he was desperate to make a name for himself and get one in the win column and finally get hold of some gold.
I mean, it's just I just like the kind of build. It's like kind of he hasn't beaten him yet. And it kind of but yeah, I mean, obviously that first match, I remember it very well. That's the one when he done the coffin drop from the outside and landed on straight on his back on the apron, if I remember. Yeah, that's kind of like, this guy is. I think I remember watching it going, this guy is completely crazy. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? So why? But
you're gonna be sore for the next few weeks after that.
I love his game. I just love the whole like kind of. He's got that kind of. If he was around during the EGW early days, he would have been huge because he's got that kind of like outside kind of grunge kind of like 2000s vibe to him. I think there's not. I don't know. It's just it feels like. I don't know if he has a sort of waving feeling to him a little bit.
Yeah, but not in like a cheesy way. It's very kind of authentic to him. There's a reason why he does it. It's not to look cool and look kind of brooding. It's because he was, when he was younger, he was involved in a car crash. He was like close to death, and that's why he's got basically half his body tattooed with his skeleton.
They don't bring up. I don't think, but I forgot about that. because obviously I don't really bring it up as much now because obviously it's been a while since I watched it. But yeah, I mean, but that's why I like it. It's got a mixture of all the kind of things. I liked Raven. I like kind of things. So, but yeah, I mean, I've always been kind of ever since that match against Cody, I've been a big fan. So, going into this, I was thinking that first thoughts was I was thinking that Cody was going to win because I just thought, well, he's won the title back, right after that dog collar match with Brody Lee. That was pretty good. I think it was alright. It's alright, yeah. But yeah. So and then I thought, okay, so he's got the title back. So he's gonna have like a good couple of months reign.
Yeah, I thought so. Helped pushing the GT Championship. Although that was part of like, okay, they could put it on Darby. However, what I thought was inevitable was Team Taz getting involved, whether in the finish or after the match, and which they did. Taz got involved. They cut the music, stop all this crying, boo-hoo, yeah, you won. He got a promo on the Go Home show of Dynamite saying, yeah, they will be there, they will make their own impact at the show. But he's talking about Ricky Starks has won his last, I think, 9 matches, and it's the same for Brian Cage as well. I don't think he's lost since, or the only one he ever lost was one he didn't tap out. Taz had to throw in the towel.
True, but I mean, that was another good promo as well. Really good. I mean, Taz on fire. Mm-hmm. But but for me, it's like so going into it. Kind of talk about the match a bit. I'm guessing that's why. A lot of let's talk about match maybe, you know. But so obviously, I kind of put down notes here. It's like Cody was kind of cocky, kind of not taking Darby seriously at the start of the match.
Yeah, very condescending in his promo. He was talking about, Darby has the potential to be TNT champion. Is he going to be? No, not when Cody holds the title. He's posing at the beginning, flexing his muscles. He knocks Darby down, offers to help him up, in a kind of air quotes sporting kind of manner, which Darby just refuses. Like, nope, I don't need your help. Don't you condescend me. And Darby plays his own games as well. So Cody's being all cocky. And Darby just tries to rattle him a bit. So there's a waistlock counter, and he just slaps Cody in the back of the head just to piss Cody off and force him to make a mistake. And he does. He gets overconfident, or he gets angry. He gets confident. And he messes around. Arn has to have a word with him during the match saying, look, He's embarrassing you. He's just running rings around you. Like, just slow him down. Just out wrestle him. Like, muscle him around. And that's when Cody starts working on the arm.
Obviously we've got to talk about a bit where I think it was like like an arm lock on the back, and it kind of lifted him up and then chucked him on the outside. Yeah. and his arm landed on the outside. I'm just like, of course they had a spot like that. Of course they had a spot with Darby Allin being chucked around. And he's landing on his arm awkwardly.
It's like when Darby goes for that springboard as well, off the ropes, that great elevation going for that arm drag, and then Cody just, boom, brings him down straight into that hammerlock again as Darby lands basically face first into the canvas flat. It's like, that looked like it hurt. It was very well executed.
Yeah, it's good.
Very impressive.
I don't know. It's just, I think there's a lot of cool stuff you could do with Darby, like kind of that you couldn't do with any other wrestler, that kind of situation. But obviously we got, was it some really cool spots? I think he had the Cody went for the moonsault. Obviously, that's really cool. We got to point out that we had as they called it, an avalanche code. What was it? The crossroads from the top rope. That looks really awesome, by the way. I don't think I've ever. I haven't seen
great.
Has he done it before?
Yeah.
So that's the first time he's done it.
Not from the top rope. No. He does a couple of moves from the top rope. He has a body slam from the turnbuckle as well. But that one, Darby is basically knocked out from it and just rolls, whether it is momentum or it's just some ring smarts, just rolling to the other side of the ring just to get his arm under the bottom rope to force the break.
Mean, another thing I've got to point out about that crossroads thing I put up my notes, it's like, I don't know if I just noticed it now, but have you noticed they've done the above camera spot kind of thing? You know, I know it might not be a new thing, but I'm guessing I just don't pay attention. But I always loved that with the old Attitude Era of the old, like when he'd had ladder matches where they put the camera from like Eagle Eye.
And you just see them fall like, oh, that was a long way to go. That's what I mean.
It always looked cool. And I just noticed they used it here and I liked it. It made that crossroads from the top look really more awesome, I think. But I just noticed it really. But yeah, kind of caught him near the end. He had the situation where Cody was just basically like taunting him. Basically, he was like, why don't you stay down? I kind of think he couldn't beat him. He hit a crossroads on the top rope, and he still can't win. Yeah. Like what you got to do with this guy? So like he kept slamming him. He kept like just doing basic body slams. Even got to the point where he brought his like weightlifting belt, and he's gonna whip him with it because he was so frustrated. Obviously, Darby Allin kind of done a surprise package or that kind of stuff. He even done a coffin drop, and Stu get.
Yeah. But the coffin drop, he trips him up with the belt, which I thought was a nice touch. Goes for the coffin drop, and I think it was in their second match where it looks like Darby's going to win. Hits the coffin drop, but Cody rolls him up at the last second. But this time, Cody didn't move. It's like, oh, is this it? Is this the moment? And then it's a great 2.
You can see that he kind of moved quickly because he kind of learning from that mistake from last time. So, but yeah, I mean, kind of. I got to be honest. The finish, I was surprised in the sense that the way he did it, because I was going to expecting like the coffin drop hits it and then 1, 2, 3, like you would expect. But I got to be honest, wasn't surprising like a surprise pin. Basically, it's like a nice combo of like kind of them kind of pin. You do one pin, I counter into another pin. You counter that, and I counter that.
Yep.
But I kind of like the one where you kind of like was like a roll up, like rolling forward type pin, and it's like 1, 2, and then you got the 3. But the reaction from the commentator was great because it came out of nowhere. It's like you got a shocking, you got a surprise win, like kind of instead of like a definitive win, if you know what I mean. I was just surprised because obviously maybe it's just it still works because obviously now it's just like he just hit everything, but all it took is a roll up or like a kind of to get like a quick pin to get the win. So
yeah, well they're presenting it as a sport, so wins can happen whenever, and it's nice when you have a roll up and you don't expect that free. Sometimes you have some kind of shenanigans, some kind of distraction. Someone comes in for a roll up 1, 2, 3. Occasionally you might have a roll up, then a roll up 1, 2, 3 to you counter the roll up. But this was counter. We've seen it loads of times. Counter 1, 2, counter 1, 2, counter 1, 2, counter 1, 2. But this was nice, and he's got all his weight down the shoulders. 1, 2, 3. He got him. Brilliant. Yeah, kind of it broke the usual kind of mold and the usual rhythm, which was quite nice.
Yeah, I guess that's why I was just like, oh, it's over. But then I was kind of bothered because I was like, oh, okay, so Darby Allin's won it. I mean, again, I thought Cody would win it, but it seems like, so he's won his first title. He's finally beaten him, and it just took it didn't take anything like he hit everything at this guy, but it just took a simple roll up or like to get the win. But yeah, he looks good with that belt. I've got to be honest. I think I've seen the pictures. I've seen him with it. It's just like it suits him very nicely. Yeah,
there's a fantastic image after the beatdown. Obviously, Darby's won, but he comes out with the car which says "Face of TNT" on it, and the car on the skateboard as well. And the camera just zooms in. It's like, that's the image. That's your TNT champion. He's like been through a hell of a lot. He's almost had his arm broken in the car, but he's got the title belt around him. He's the face of TNT. He's put his body through that.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. It was just a nice. It was a nice. It just looked like it was right. Like he's deserved it. I think that's what I like about title changes. It doesn't feel like out of the blue. It's like it's basically been a year of just like he can't get the win, and then he finally has. It feels well deserved. And also, especially when you've seen the guy get trucked across the ring, put in body bags, thrown around. Basically, the guy should be dead. With the kind of things that they do to this guy, but he still comes back fighting, and he still, and it's a nice story, especially like a nice build story. But obviously we talked about start this. Obviously, it didn't last long. Obviously we had the thing that Cody was nice enough to give him the title, get on his knees and give him the title. It was nice, but then obviously Taz came out and basically done as you said, kind of. It makes me sick that he won it and all that kind of stuff. And then it was all a ploy to kind of distract. And then Ricky Starks and Brian Cage basically attacks everyone. Cody attacks Darby Allin. Even Arn, I think did even attack Arn Allison.
Yeah, attacking old Arn. It's like, no, leave Arn alone.
No need for that. Dastardly humans. But it was just a beatdown. Was it put Darby Allin through? I don't know what that stage bit was, the bit where it's like, it looks like that had no purpose other than just to kind of be there.
Yeah, just to power bomb people onto.
Pretty much. Well, if you had that, obviously then we got the bit near the end where he's going to like beating him on his own car, and then it's going to be like, even Cody tried to get back, but he got help out, but he got his ass whooped. But yeah, so he went for the was it wedge his hand in between the car door and kind of smack it like there. I mean, I don't want to see that, but then obviously Will Hobbs, as you know, it's been involved in this feud, came with the chair, made the save, but the last image you saw was Darby Allin lying on his own car with the TNT Championship. Now, it's just, if it's anything's an image of Darby Allin, you know, he won the title, but you know, he's always going to get. It's just a nice image that's kind of messed up, but yeah, obviously they got the Will Hobbs thing's quite interesting with Taz is trying to recruit him, trying to give him an offer. I still think he's turning. I think he's going to join Taz's group.
You reckon?
As you said, Darby's kind of a lone wolf, and obviously the way it's going, I just think it would be an interesting swerve. And I think they need another member. I think one more.
I think I'd rather than keep the kind of dynamic that Darby is a lone wolf and like does it on his own until it gets to the point where if he defends the title again and again, over and over and over again. And Moxley's been through a lot, so he can take it without suffering any kind of like psychological kind of trauma, whereas Darby, maybe that everyone's after him, kind of all the time, and so maybe it just gets to him, and you could have the potential turn perhaps, but I'd quite like it to stick the way it is, and like to see him be a fighting champion. I mean, it's taking him so long to get there. It'd be such a shame just to suddenly just turn him heel or the title's taken away from him. I mean, I can still see that the title potentially fluctuating in between Team Taz and Darby. I don't think Darby should join a faction. Again, you could use the mutual friendship of Moxley, Cody, Will Hobbs as the kind of equalizers. Yeah,
well, we all know Cody. I think I saw an interview we did. Like he's a big fan of factions, so he kind of likes to do Japan style of factions, where it's like they're a group of individuals, not just a team. So
yes,
that could work. I mean, but so you think the way it's looking up, it looks like Darby Allin's going to be gone against Brian Cage or Ricky Starks, kind of like for that TNT Championship. That again would be awesome because Taz has been great. It seems to be a thing with AEW with bringing back kind of legends of the business, but not overshadowing everyone. Let it. It's basically like their whole big is to big up who they're representing, and Taz does it well. Jake the Snake Roberts does it well. Could say Ian Allison does it pretty damn well. Obviously, could set up nicely for the next match. Obviously, with the Vicky Guerrero. It's crazy actually to see he's back. But anyway, but the same thing. So, so it looks like Darby Allin probably against them. But again, just nice to see him win it, and it felt good. It was good.
Very good. As a Darby Allin fan, very happy.
Yeah. So obviously that we had my next match, the AEW Women's World Championship match. Hikaru Shida, I got the name right, and we're happy right now. And against Nyla Rhodes, with Vicky Guerrero as the manager for the last couple of weeks.
Yep, the Vicious Vixens.
Yes, I can't be honest. Hikaru Shida, she's been off TV for a couple of weeks. She hasn't been on like a lot of the women's segments in Dynamite has been sort of like other wrestlers, kind of like not her. So I don't know if they're just trying to build up the women's division, and she's on the background for a bit. But
she's been in the crowd a couple of times.
Obviously, we had that bit of the Go Home show with Vicky basically being Vicky Guerrero, being annoying and very antagonistic.
Excuse me.
or that line she said when she said to the Brandy Rose, was it CTFO or something like that? You're not the brand officer, you're the brand bullshit officer. And normally that would sound really hulky. And kind of like, but it's because it's Vicky, it works.
It works.
Because Vicky's good at being annoying. Even it's like when you used to what.
Good annoying.
Yeah, but she, again, as we said just briefly, it's like she's annoying, but she's always building up who she's representing, like the others, like the other talents are. And obviously, Nyla Rose is kind of like the story going is this is kind of she's kind of been disappearing on and off, and then when she's come back with Vicky on her side, and she's kind of said, "I will not wrestle unless it's a world title." Kind of situation, and she has been top of the women's rankings for the last couple of months. So
yeah, she's won. I think they mentioned her last 7 matches.
yeah, but that's what I like about sometimes when the rankings work, where it's like, oh, so why are they getting a title shot? It's like, oh, because they've won 7 in a row. That's why.
Although there's an argument to be made that not long ago had a match, and that was a hardcore match, which should have really been like a feud ender. And then they faced off a few months later, which goes to show that there's still issues with the women's division in AEW.
I've got some thoughts on that. To be fair, I've kind of had a feeling on it, but we talk about now. Or we can talk about after the match. Maybe, I don't know. What's your preference?
Let's go into the match. That's what we're here to do.
Yes, and then we'll discuss the other stuff later on. But so this is again, it's kind of like the last match they had was pretty damn good. Especially, I mean, it's probably one of the best women's matches I've seen on AEW so far. Maybe if that's fair.
Yeah, I'd say that. Or I think the match between, I think it was for the inaugural championship, Rio and Nyla Rose was good.
Yeah, I think what's another one? Was it maybe the Thunder Rosa versus Hikaru Shida? It was pretty good as well. But yeah, it's like I would say it's probably one of the standout ones from the women's division so far. So it had some potential. You knew he was going to get some competent, really good match. I like Shida is kind of like she wasn't messing around from the get go.
No, she the cliche, they know each other so well. Like especially Shida knows Nyla. Nyla would usually overpower all of her opponents, but Shida's wrestled her before. She knows how to tackle Nyla, so she was in control for the most part of the beginning of the match up until Vicky interfered, hitting her with a kendo stick. So she's dropping knees as Nyla Rose is on the ropes, but also draped outside on the apron, fully in control of the match. I do have to say again, when it comes down to refereeing, like Aubrey Edwards is a fantastic referee, but she brings out a chair. Not battering an eyelid, no problem with that. Nyla Rose tries to get a table out. Oh, no. You can't do that. They're both getting weapons out for the intention of using them.
It's like, it makes you think, like, you do realise this is a normal match, right, everyone? You know, as much as you want to put through, I know putting people through tables is fun, and everyone wants to do it. You can't do it in this match. I can't like was it the reaction to Vicky when she used her own Shida's kind of own kendo stick on her knee, and it's like Vicky, what are you doing? don't do that. I just love that reaction. It's just like, yeah, it's like, what are you doing, Vicky? Don't be doing that. But so basically that it's good showing in most of the matches. Basically, like Nyla Rose working on the knee.
Yep, locking her up, trapping her under the frame of the ring, which looked very nice. Yeah, I mean, or looked very painful.
Another thing we should point out here is I never knew Shida had like the strength that she had.
Oh yeah, very impressive. The suplex, as you mentioned, also a Falcon Arrow as well, very good.
So I'm just laughing at a Falcon Arrow from the top rope on Nyla Rose. Just the concept of that is baffling, but it's just like, it's just like, I saw that, I was like, you got to be kidding me. That was brilliant. I love shocks like that. You know, like when you find out people are more stronger than you thought they were. Yeah,
it's like John Silver.
Yeah, it seems like you thought, I just can't be doing that. It'd be one of those matches where she's trying to lift her up and she can't because she's not strong enough. But she's like, nope, I'll suplex her. I'll do a back body drop, no problem. I say no problem. It did look like she struggled, but she did do well. So and it's kind of a situation where it was basically that she hit another Falcon Arrow, almost. She hit that, was it running knee, but it looked really weak, like really didn't look as impactful, I don't think.
She hit 4 in a row at the end as well, with kind of a sinister grin, sinister smile before she did so. And they kind of mentioned sort of breaking the fourth wall a little bit. It's like, is that an evil turn? Or I'm not quite sure if they mentioned heel turn, but they mentioned it was like a bad turn or evil turn. It's like, I'm not supposed to say that out loud. You know, you can question like what they're doing, but say, this is a turn, this is a bad turn. Like,
I think they kind of know the audience, because you kind of know that most people watching this know we're kind of we're in the know. We know what's going on. Go on, we watch enough of this to know the lingo. What's going on with the backstage stuff? We
know the lingo. We watched enough BTE. We watched enough Matt Hardy. We know some insider knowledge.
Quite knowledgeable. I think. But yeah, so that one of me was quite weak. I mean, you had the situation where what was it? The cool thing is where you got Nyla Rose hit her power bomb, but then like she just about to she pinned her, but she lifted her up, so like stopped the count. That's a bad idea, just so she could humiliate her and try and hit her running knee. That I think she did, but she kicked out. But then obviously she'd have done the same thing where she does. I think I don't know if it's the Falcon Hour or something like that, but she like done a big move and then she lifted her up as well. It's just like to stop the count. So it's just like everyone's like both playing, back and forth. Yeah. But again, it just as I said, 4 knees to the back of the head.
Boom. That'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, it would. I mean, 1, 2, 3, it just for me, it just feels like a situation that 4 would probably do it. No, we're quite used as wrestling fans to see people get like 50,000 like super kicks and knees to the head and kind of all kinds of things and stook it up. So it's kind of nice to have a bit of consistency where if someone needs you 4 times the velocity that they do,
you're out cold.
You're not getting up from that.
Nope.
So, but yeah, I mean, I was surprised that Shida won here. I gotta be honest. No, because I thought she had a good long run, and the way they were talking about her, bigging up that she's elevated the division, and that she's done a good job, and the way it looked like they were gonna, she's done a good job, and she's done her time, and maybe like she might give it to Rose to kind of go on a monster run, while they kind of build up another star that can take it from her. So, but I guess that didn't happen. So, what do I know?
No.
So. But no, I just watching it. Just that's what I thought would go because obviously she's had a good run since when she won like a couple months ago. So
yeah, I don't think this had like the best kind of build or the best story apart from I've won the last like 7 matches. It was sort of quiet. It wasn't mentioned too much. I think that doesn't help with because you mentioned Hikaru Shida wasn't on television that much.
No, and I think when they were trying to build up the others, like obviously like Red Velvet and the other ones and stuff. So, and it's quite funny. The NWA Women's Championship has been prominent more the last couple of weeks than their own title. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's what I thought. I mean, the way it's looking for me is like obviously we got to talk about. Was it Vicky? We had a bit of a Vicky was kind of a shouting match with Nyla Rose at the end. Slapped her in the face. Any other person that slapped Nyla Rose in the face, she would have got a power bomb or some sort of punch in the face. But apparently in this case, not the case. So, but got to be honest, Vicky's. I think someone said like Vicky's slaps are kind of one the worst. Like would hurt the most, and it's like up there with Stephanie McMahon's ones. Like they hurt.
They come at you at some velocity. Yeah,
they know. She knows how to slap you, and I don't want to get slapped by Vicky Guerrero. So. But yeah, so obviously that interesting to see if that turns into like a breakup maybe or something. But Shida, I think from what I've always said I would like is a situation of like I want Britt Baker as a champion. Yeah. So I think you could build a division around her. Like you can be the Darcy heel, and she's good in the ring, and then build up like this megastar because that's what they're missing, a megastar. But what do you think? What we're talking about? What's your thoughts on the women's division? Like, you think it's better from last year, or do you think it still needs a lot of work?
There's more notable kind of characters, I'd say, but in terms of like championship contenders, I think there's only really like those 3 names: Hikaru Shida, Nyla Rose, and then Britt Baker is like the only other one that really comes up.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I've always thought like with the women's division, I was thinking about it. It's like. It's a division they literally did build from scratch, and I know that's like, well, duh.
But then again, they've done that. They built from scratch from the other divisions, the tag team divisions, and the men's singles as well.
But there's a difference, though. I think like the men's division had kind of like they had these like big names that everyone knew. It's like the men's division you had was it Cody? You had Kenny Omega. You had Chris Jericho. You had John Moxley, and then you had them other names that had potential that they could build, so that they can help build them. Why you've still got the big names to carry the show into that time. The tag team division you still had, maybe you might know Lucha Bros. You definitely know the Young Bucks. Yes. You might obviously you got the other teams you didn't know, so you had like the established names, and then you got the names you might not know, and they could build around that. The men's and the tag team division had that. but the women's division kind of didn't. It was just all these names that kind of people don't really know.
Yeah.
So they had to kind of work from scratch.
Yeah, the majority of them were either in the big three, pretty much, or big two, your WWE, your NXTs, NXT UKs, and your TNAs.
Yeah, so it's kind of didn't have that kind of, that name when you look at it, like, obviously you could build stars, but it's like at the start of the other divisions, they had those established stars that you can carry until you could build up the others. Women's division didn't really have that. So that's why I think it feels like it's lagging behind, because it's got a lot more work.
I'm not quite sure what happened to... Because when she was introduced at the... I think the first casino battle royal, where she was like a surprise at the end. I think it was that match anyway. Awesome Kong. She kind of fell off the radar. Any idea what something we call Awesome Kong? I have no idea. Not
off the top of my head. I think she hasn't really been seen since they kind of dropped that Nightmare Collective thing.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if it's something to do with the scheduling, probably. Because obviously she was in... if obviously they've cancelled it now. That sucks, but Glow. She was in Glow, so maybe it might have been filming for that, maybe. Or
or it's just very simple, as I've just searched up. What happened to Awesome Kong? Apparently she was injured on an episode of AEW Dark.
So she's that injured. Okay, so nothing.
Yeah. So not only that has she been injured from on Dark, but also Glow has been cancelled. So
I know.
What a kick in the teeth that is.
I know. Annoying thing is they were filming as well.
I know.
Like halfway through filming, they just cancelled it. Makes no sense.
No. They can continue on in these COVID times. You're allowed to film. It's a special circumstance.
It's weird, right? But yeah. So, but I think it's like they haven't got that star power yet. They're building up. But I think I said it right. It's like the NXT Women's Division. They didn't really get going for at least for a couple of years.
No, that's true.
So it's like what we didn't really get. But 2-3 years until we got the famous 4 horsewomen situation. So I think that's why, when I think about it, that's kind of why it feels like it's lagging behind the other divisions.
Yeah.
Because it is like a from scratch situation. So
yeah.
Yes, obviously, but yeah. So the women's division should be alright. So fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed. I think they're on the right roads. I think it's just going to take a bit.
I'm sure they'll fix it. I'm sure they will.
I trust that they know. They've built up the other division so well that I think they'll be fine. So, but yeah. So obviously, you said the next match is obviously the AEW World Tag Team Championship match between FTR and the Young Bucks. It's a match we've been waiting for pretty much, I don't know how long, many years.
It's been building since 2016, 2017.
Something like that. I mean, it's something to do with the wars or something.
The Twitter wars.
Just the ultimate Twitter wars, yes.
Yeah, well, it began on social media.
Well, why not? Everything else, every conflict and war and sort of disagreement in the world today can always be traced back to Twitter. So, why not use it now? So, but yeah, it's been a kind of build up ever since FTR kind of debuted. A couple of months ago. It's kind of like you've been waiting for that match, right? Been waiting for it. It's like you're waiting. When are they going to do this match? When are you going to do this match between Young Bucks and FTR? I gotta be honest. The booking's been a bit over the place a little bit. Like the kind of build, it's been a bit. I would have been a bit more clear. It felt to me a bit over the place. I don't know if you feel the same or.
Yeah, I thought timing wise. I mean, it's great to have this match. I was very much looking forward to, and I very much enjoyed. But I thought FTR would hold the titles a little bit longer than they had. Because I don't think they didn't have a pay-per-view defense of the titles, did they? It was all on television. Well,
it's that kind of 20-minute brush with greatness or something. I think it's called. I think it was, well, it's basically like, I guess, if you don't know, obviously people listening, it's just basically a match where you've got face them for 20 minutes, and if you beat them before 20 minutes, that's great. But if you don't, they win. So it's all on them.
It was a draw, which would be the case kind of anyway. You know, if it was a draw and there's a title match, they would retain anyway, surely. Yeah,
but I don't know. I think it was one of those things to kind of build up, kind of like, make that match like a must see. But they've had 21. It's been like a month, 2 month reign.
Something like that, yeah. And the Young Bucks storyline as well. It was going on the same lines of that kind of heel turn Kenny Omega was doing. They were super kicking people, which they mentioned in the promo package. But Tony Khan, all these fines, they super kick referees, cameramen, all sorts of people. And then it was only like maybe a week or two ago that they then decided actually we're going to have to redeem ourselves. So they were in the corner for Brandon Cutler's first win. Just trying to ultimately be more face, I guess. So you have that dynamic in the match that's not heel on heel, which I understand. Another thing that confused me as well, and I think something that wasn't needed, was the stipulation of if we don't win, we will never challenge for the tag team titles again. Which I don't think it needed. I mean, I think you could have had FTR win this match, no problem. That continues on their reign, because you'd love to see a rematch, like no problem. They'll probably have like a rubber match. They'll end up having 3 matches. I wouldn't be surprised. But FTR winning the first match, them have the titles for a little bit longer, then the Young Bucks can challenge it for the next time and go, okay, if we don't win this time, then we won't challenge for it, and then that's when they can win it, and play off that kind of FTR have the advantage of we're the best tag team in the world because we have that win over the Bucks. We've proved it.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, I kind of thought they were trying to do similar to what Cody did with the TNT, with the World Championship, where it's like to try and like big up. That's kind of like, because they're very aware that if they win title matches all the time, you're gonna have those people that go, well, of course you win title matches, you do the booking and stuff, like
you do the booking,
you're in charge. Yeah. So I think what they did is they tried to. For me, it felt like they were doing what Cody did, kind of put like that kind of, if we don't win, we never challenge again. I mean, I can understand what he means. Like, did he need it? Probably not, but I understand why he did it. Actually, one thing I've been sort of point out, FTR's kind of heelish kind of personas has been. They talk about how great they are, but they always cheat to win.
Yeah, that's why it was great to have, and it was very refreshing to have like Tully Blanchard. I mean, as much as he is a great manager and a personality, him not being there. And they explained it on commentary as well, because he was constantly getting involved, most recently in the match with Jurassic Express, caused the distraction. FTR got the win, so get him banned from ringside. Just see who is the best tag team without any of the distractions, none of the bullshit. Yeah,
and also just like deluded heels, like where like everyone, it's very old school, because obviously that's how they represent that old school style of tag team wrestling. But I just like it when it's like when heels go, I am the greatest, but every time, but then when when they go against everyone, they either have to cheat or underhanded tactics to win all their matches. But they keep saying, well, I'm great. It's like, not really, but okay mate, sure, all right. But that's what, I like that build. And obviously with the Young Bucks, they were trying to do a lot of to try and get a bit more sympathy, is the sort of the knee injury, the leg injury from the attack. I think 2 weeks ago, after they won that Fatal 4-Way number 1 contender match.
Yep.
So
again, another odd booking thing as well, where they entered into this qualifying match through basically a raffle, rather than, okay, let's look at the top 4 teams, top highest ranked teams, put them in a Fatal 4-Way. That makes the most sense. Bung them in a gauntlet.
They kind of do that with the ratings sometimes. Sometimes they listen to them, sometimes they ignore them.
Yeah, that was very, very odd. That booking.
I mean, to be fair, it was a good match though. Gotta be honest, it's a good Fatal 4-Way.
Good match, but really strange setup. I wasn't a fan of it. It's like, well, what's the point of having the ranking system then, if you're just gonna have this gambling kind of thing? I get it if they played up to it for the event, say Double or Nothing and All Out, where there's that casino gambling theme around there. You could do something with that. But for like a number 1 contenders match in a sport, you're just throwing the ranking system out the window a bit.
A little bit, but then maybe it's just got to pay attention. I've always found with like it's pretty like TNT Championship. How do you qualify for that? There's no like separate rating system.
It's an open challenge with that one.
I think. Okay. I've always thought I would have liked a bit more of like maybe a separate rating. maybe, but that's not what we're here to talk about, of course. Probably should have brought that up earlier, but whatever. But interesting, but weird booking going into this. So it's kind of like you go in FTR kind of. Young Bucks have got everything against them. I think it's under kind of like they got one. Was it Matt? I think it was Matt Jackson. Was it Matt Jackson's got the injury, or was it Nick? I always forgot.
Matt Jackson's got the injury.
Yeah, so you got him going in with the knee injury. You have this stipulation hanging over them, sitting there saying, "Okay, if they don't win, we don't get a challenge." So it's like the old everything's against the faces.
Yes.
So I can see like it's kind of like that kind of situation, but so obviously back to the match though. I mean, again, start very slow. Very like it seems like they're a bit. I would have expected it a bit more faster pace, but I'm guessing it was a bit more slower than I was expecting. Because Young Bucks are quite straight out the gate type situation with their matches usually, aren't they? Yeah,
both trying to wrestle. Smart, so they have that kind of standoff in the middle of the ring as one tries to chase to the corner to get the tag. One tries to stop them, even though they're not the legal man. So they've done their homework, and they're both keeping their opponents in their own corners, which is smart. That's what you want in a tag team match. Isolate them from their partner.
Mm-hmm. But we had the bit with both sides having working. Obviously, FTR obviously worked on the leg, the knee. Of course. And obviously, I think it was Cash or Wild, or was he had like
Wheeler. Cash Wheeler.
Yeah, it was like worked on his hand. Like I think it's like he'd done something, and he was bleeding a little bit. So I had a cut or something. So they were kind of working.
Oh, to Matt. Apparently that cut to his hand that happened like during one of the photo shoots or something, whether he got caught on his belt or he punched something or other. I'm not quite sure.
Seriously? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that was on BTE.
I gotta watch that more, man. I've got no excuse because I'm not going anywhere. So.
Well, not for the next month or so, no.
No, well, yeah, but yeah. So I had that. So I kind of liked. Another thing I've got to point out with this match is really nice. Nice homages to the greats. Both using their kind of love of what styles they're into, like kind of like the FTI done the heart attack finisher. You had a kind of I didn't notice it at first, but I'm glad they mentioned it. Obviously, the Young Bucks done a 3D. I thought
they did. They saw the move. It's like, that's a 3D. I'm thinking, what do they call it? I'm not quite sure what the actual move is. But then
Death Valley Drop, isn't it?
Death Valley Drop, yeah. But then they did the Twist of Fate going to the top. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, they're doing the Swanton. They're doing the Team Extreme Harley Boys. And before, that was the 3D. Because I called it 3D as they did it. But I'm not quite sure if they had an official move or official name for it.
I'm sure it's like say, can we call it 3D? Because obviously I don't want to get sued because it's WWE property or something like that, or something like that. But yeah, I just liked it done that, and then obviously even a surprise one. We had a nice homage to DIY.
Yeah, that was nice.
I was shocked. I thought for me it was like a situation of like I thought to myself that it'd be one of those things where they do the obvious ones. You done the heart attack, you done the swanton, you done the 3D, but then like the DIY, it's like that was nice because like that's a recent team.
It's a recent team, but also they were in NXT. They feuded with them. It's like, this worked, so let's do that. And they had a little chat like in between. It's like, what the hell are we doing? Like, remember this? Let's do it.
Yeah, obviously they had them cool stuff. We had the bit with the both. I think it was a cool bit with both. I think it was Nick and Matt giving FTR kind of sharpshooters, one on the inside, one on the outside. It's kind of nice. But obviously we've got a kind of what was it? Was it a Spike Power Driver? Again, they done another one. I hate Spike. I hate Spike Power Drivers. They make me awkward. I don't like them. But yeah, so obviously we got near the end. It kind of just got like basically super kicks. It got crazy. Obviously got the bit where I think they were FTR really working on that leg of Matt, like kind of taking his boot off,
removing the boot as well.
And it's kind of like I think got me like a sort of figure four type situation, and then kind of slammed their foot onto it, just like one of her. So I thought you thought that was it, but let's be honest here. It was that obviously got that was it not Matt Nick Jackson doing the kind of thing or Matt Jackson at the top kind of doing that 450 splash to spit up that figure four. That was kind of cool. But then it's like this the ending now. I'm like, who would have thought Cash, right? Wilder.
Yeah.
It's like you sit in there, okay, hit a super kick. It was like nice, okay, cool, that looked nice. But then obviously, then out of nowhere, it's like I think it's like you kind of what I liked about it is like he kind of looks like, ooh, oh, I can do what they did, and I love the way he like springboard and then went down a 450 splash, and it was really good as well.
Yeah, the problem was Matt moved out the way. Cassidy was even though they're the team of the FTR, they're a team of like no flips, just fists. Cassidy has been doing some flippy shit, some aerial offense. He was launching himself around the ring, as was Nick Jackson. A little bit earlier on in the match, Cass tries to go for a dive. He ends up just shoving his shoulder into the ring post, which looked nasty. He goes for what was it there? It wasn't a moonsault. A springboard 450. He misses. Super kick. Bang. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it was right on the freaking jaw as well. It was like
lovely.
Proper like, normally you think, his super kicks normally don't kick out, but it's like, listen, the guy, he hasn't got a boot on. He's hitting you with your bare foot. It's right on the jaw. It's like, you're not getting up from that.
With the heel, bang. Knockout blow, UFC style.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, the FTR lose by changing their game plan or trying to play Young Bucks' game, and it backfired. Yeah,
also you would have, as you said, we brought up at the start, like about Tony Blanchard. It's like he was like kind of keeping them going doing those matches, but without him, they're kind of lost. They lost their heads basically.
Exactly.
Went for anything you could do, I could do better, and it backfired, and he lost. So, yes, that's so they've done it. It's pretty much a thing we've been waiting for pretty much since AEW started. When was going to be the time they're going to give the Young Bucks the tag team championships? The Young Bucks won it. Again, when your thoughts on before we get into this, there's a nice little thing in the end with certain person backstage that kind of watching from the distance. But before, like, what are your thoughts on the match in general? Did it live up to the hype? Do you think that everyone was bigging it up to be?
It lived up to the hype. I thought they'd position the card. I honestly thought this match could be or should have been the main event of the show. And I thought it, because I looked at the show length. I didn't watch it live. I watched the show length. Oh, this is a long old show. Maybe this match goes on for, it's an hour-long time limit, so maybe it's close to the hour. Maybe they do 45 minutes or something, but it was just over or just under 30 minutes. I thought they were going to go a little bit longer than that, but they've got scope too in the rematches. Yeah,
I mean, I think for me it just I think it's like we always thought with this match. It had that really danger of having that situation where they big up how on Twitter and it's this big rivalry, but what happens if they don't click?
Yeah.
What was it if as a team like they just don't, their styles just don't mesh?
Yeah, that was always the risk, like two completely different styles.
But again, it's like from that fear was not justified because he's brilliant. I think I can. Yeah. I think it's I think it's like I was quite surprised at the kind of stuff FGR were doing, and I kind of like the Young Bucks I did find they kind of felt like they were holding back a little bit. Not like in a when I say that in the nicest way, because I've seen him do some crazy stuff in matches. So when it comes to the certain stuff I've seen them do in matches, this is quite tame when you think about it. So, but yeah, I mean that finish was cool. I like the kind of homages to the greats with their kind of movesets. Kind of, it's kind of like it's feel like an art form to like sort of homage to them. Kind of shows that this is who they are, for not just by how they wrestle, but like who they imitate as well.
Yeah, who are their influences for sure.
I kind of like so. I always like that wrestling. Like when they do somebody else's moves, but you don't do it because they want to insult them. They do it because they want to. Homage. Yes. So, but yes, obviously, so they finally won it. It took them nearly a year to do it. Obviously, we had the nice thing at the end when Kenny Omega came out and congratulated them because obviously, like they've got the tag team titles. He's got a world title shot. So maybe at some point they're going to have all the gold. But again, they didn't really bring it up. Maybe not near the end, but I guess you could pick up is they got the bit where there's sort of tunnel bit when they're celebrating, and you can see Hangman Adam Page. Yeah,
I don't think they mentioned it on commentary as well. I think it's just for the audience to notice.
Well, I think I remember them saying something like, I'm sure, wasn't it like some like they didn't say it was Adam Page, but it's like, I'm sure I saw a figure on the stage. or something, a dark figure. But I think you're right. I think it was more of a situation that makes us feel clever. You know, like oh yeah, there he is. So
he's there.
So like we noticed it and they didn't notice, so it makes us feel like we're quite clever. It's like we noticed it, but but I guess it's like that sets up probably what we started on the opening match, where maybe because of how bad it's got for Adam Page, he's going to try and try and get back, repair his friendship with the Young Bucks, maybe. Try and do something like that, and Kenny Omega try and repair that. Maybe that's where they go next. But I think they're setting up that with that kind of tease. You know, it's like he's still their friend. They don't like him at the moment, but he's still proud of them, and he still wants to. That kind of like that. So, but so what do you think is next for this? Do you think it's going to be a situation where there's going to be a rematch, probably at at the next pay-per-view next year, or do you think they're going to move on and maybe do another team? Do you think this is like a 3-match series, maybe?
I reckon they'll do 3 matches, whether it's at Revolution or like a double or nothing, but they play with the stakes for it. So maybe it's FTR, they can't challenge for the tag titles again, that kind of thing. But it's double or nothing. Play with it. If it's all out, you're all in. Go for it. You up the stakes. It's just a championship, but who is the best? Add some stakes to those matches. Yeah,
maybe, I don't know. Maybe do a situation where they build up that kind of like FTR kind of like they lost their first match, but like they're going to go on this massive tear until like all out or something, to get them to that goal back. And then hopefully by the time that happens, there'll be like fans will be let back.
Exactly.
And then we can finally they can see this great match, and then they can, do that. That might be, but I mean, you still got like that thing, that unfinished business with Private Party in some ways, because obviously they always have good matches with them. So that could be a cool thing.
Speaking of Private Party,
oh god, that was a great segue. I like that.
Thank you very much. They played their part in the Elite Deletion match, which was there and placed on the card for comic relief. And it certainly started off that way, and then as the match went on, it got more and more barbaric.
It's got a bit crazy, right? A little bit crazy. But yeah, obviously it started off with, obviously if you don't know, this kind of feud, it's kind of basically I think this feud has kind of been, I was kind of disappointed with a little bit build up wise, because they've done a thing where Matt Hardy got attacked from behind, and they kind of built up. It's like, well, it's a guy with a mask with a bat. Who could it be? And everyone's like, well, it's Jericho, of course.
It's clearly Sammy, yeah.
But it's like they were going for Jericho, and it was like, and then it was like, oh, it could be a mystery, and then it's like, well, it's probably Sammy.
It's probably Sammy, yeah. I mean,
then he came back just out of nowhere, like the Jericho thing's like, oh, where's Sammy was here? Oh wait a minute, he's here, and he just turns up. It's like, okay, Jericho, just. So I thought, and then all of a sudden, it's like he kept this hanging around with the inner circle, and then all of a sudden, that you just get a problem and said, who done it? And then just, oh, it's Sammy Guevara. It's like, oh, duh.
Yes. Well, they didn't really get the chance. I mean, they continued on with their, was it a Falls Count Anywhere match they had? But Matt Hardy took an awful bump, smack us in the concrete, like why the match wasn't stopped.
It's super baffles me today. Apparently he wasn't that bad or something. Like, he continues to go on.
He was out cold.
I know.
He looked like completely. His head smacked on the concrete. That was not good.
I mean, but what baffled me about it, he had that really nice, heartwarming speech, like saying, I'm gonna appreciate, all the support and stuff, and then kind of like, oh, I'll go away and stay with my family.
Yeah.
And then he's back the week later.
Like a week later,
hanging around with the Private Party. Obviously, they've set up this caution, but I think for me, it's like, but I was expecting you to be away for like a couple of months, getting better.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you're like, okay, I'm just back. Okay. It's like,
yeah, and then you can still have the attack from Sammy Guevara, but he's already had other bits on. He'll be doing other feuds then. So when that Matt Hardy does eventually return and that attack happens, who could it be? Oh yeah, Sammy. They do have some history. They still have some unfinished business. That makes sense.
Just felt a bit messy, Like, just feel like it's, I don't know. It felt like they're setting up this attacker to like this big deal, and then they kind of, it's like a twist. Like say, who could it be? And then it's like, well, it's probably not the person it probably should be. And then they do it.
Yeah, it's like it should be the most obvious person, but if it's the most obvious person, it's a bit boring. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like they could. If they did, why did the setup? Like that's what I mean. If it's going to be Sam Guevara, it didn't need a kind of like attack from behind storyline.
Yeah.
It could just be in a situation where he comes back and just takes him out, like straight out, like in the ring. But I always thought they were going to go. Maybe it's like a mystery attacker, but apparently it's not. It's just Sammy Guevara. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think the build up was a bit. I've got to be honest, I wasn't excited for this match as I should have been because the kind of build was a bit over a bit meh. So, but again, deletion matches at the Hardy compound are always interesting. It's probably the word I've used.
This one was very, very divisive from the critics.
Really?
There's some people, hated the match. Some people really liked it. I thought it went on far too long. I thought they kind of should have stuck to the kind of light relief, playing with the comedy. Then towards the end, smacking the chair on the back of Sammy's head on the concrete. Big old dive from the ladder. It's like, Jesus Christ.
I got to be honest, that we'll talk about. Obviously, that ending was uncomfortable. Got to be honest.
Very, very uncomfortable. And then celebrating sadistically. Hooray! We've won.
Obviously, to be fair, they did put a guy in a trash, basically put him in a dustbin, a trash can, basically, or dustbin.
Yeah.
But then drove him
pretty much dead.
Yeah, just put him on a truck and then drove him away. Yeah. So,
And then there was Senior Benjamin, which was quite nice.
Yeah, it's always. But again, we're fast forwarding to the end where we should.
Yes. That was the end.
But let's do good narrative structure. We'll start from the end and work our way to the start.
Yeah.
Why not?
Go chronological. Why do we always tell stories and we have the ending first or a big kind of spoil at the beginning and then go or from the start of the story and then start chronologically? From where the story should have begun. It's like, well, you just destroyed all tension because we know what's coming.
Well, they do it now and then. When you have a thing that's like ending of a story that we haven't seen yet. Then you go 3 months earlier, and then we go into that. Yeah. But that's not what this was. It's just we just really want that ending was very.
That's just what we did. Yeah.
We're just being difficult because we want to be difficult. Anyway, so sort of the match kind of started off with obviously Sammy Guevara was in his golf cart because it's been falling inside for the last many months. Mm-hmm. In some of the most hilarious segments I've seen. It always makes me laugh just thinking about it. So we had that, and obviously we had the whole. It was Velgard? Was it 1 now or 2? Because
that's Neo 1 because Vanguard 1 unfortunately passed away.
Damn it!
After being destroyed.
Damn it, Chris. Damn it, Chris.
You killed Vanguard 1.
I know, it's just a horrible situation. It's horrible. You're a horrible human being, Chris Jericho is sometimes, isn't it? Anyway, so we had that, obviously, Neil 1. But then obviously a bit where it's it was kind of funny when all of a sudden you hear this truck, and then obviously Matt Hardy's got, but all of a sudden just has a monster truck in his backyard because, why not? Of course he does. Because, why not?
He's got a leg of incarnation, so I wouldn't be surprised he has a monster truck. Yeah.
Why not? The guy's completely off his head. But obviously, and then a bit, kind of crashed the kind of golf cart and kind of with the weird thing. That was orgasmic or something.
Orgasmic.
Yeah, I can't do it. And he's like, that's what I call a squash job. It's
this one was where you can break the fourth wall, where you're not taking yourself too seriously. You can't take yourself seriously with an deletion match. It's or elite deletion match because it's just silly.
It's ridiculous. It's what as you said, Jim Cornette would hate. He hates this kind. This is the match that everything he despises in wrestling. This is he would hate this with a passion of how ridiculous. But this is what I kind of love about wrestling as well. So I don't think I would ever hate a match like this because it's ridiculous, but that's what wrestling is sometimes. So go with it. But obviously most of it's just basically them beating the crap out of each other until they found a random ring in the middle of his garden because why not? But then there was this. I think should point out Matt Hardy before the match even began kind of was on the phone to someone saying he needs the help. Kind of set up something for later. But they just head to the ring. We had a cool bit where Hardy put Sammy Guevara through a table and a powerbomb. Again, table spots are always cool. So I enjoy table spots a lot. So and then obviously before you knew it, just when you think it's one of the matches, obviously the Inner Circle turn up.
Santana and Ortiz.
Yep, and they just basically do the whole thing where beat the crap out of them. It's 3-on-1, usual stuff, and then. Hardy was able to go to underneath ring and have a walkie-talkie to kind of call in a private party. Obviously, that's what they caught. That was in a car waiting for support, and then they turned up. And then for some reason, they focused a bit too much on that, and a bit less on the actual people that are fighting in the match. I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, Tana Ortiz versus Pryor Pryor, fun match. I would like to see that, but I don't know. It just felt like they kind of focused on that a bit too much, and maybe diverted from Guevara and kind of Matt Hardy.
We had a fantastic. I really enjoyed the transition from the ring to the lake where they're just firing fireworks at each other. I thought that was hilarious.
Well, we had that stuff like it feels like a trench warfare. It's like he's got fireworks. Matt Hardy's got fireworks, and it's just like he's like on the floor like firing these fireworks, and then Sammy Guevara's got fireworks. It's
like
basically
poor Sammy. He's been chased by golf carts. He's been thrown off like the stadium seating area. He's had fireworks chucked at him. He's been basically murdered now.
I love that. I don't love obviously getting murdered. You know, I'm not that sick, but I like the bit with like just wanting fireworks, and he's just sitting there like fireworks attacking him, and he's just like the way he's reacting is like, for God's sake, leave me alone, stop attacking me with these fireworks, damn it. But then obviously we got to the bit where it's like we got to the Lake of Reincarnation, as you do, and then all of a sudden you just think you're just about to chuck him into the Lake of Reincarnation. All of a sudden this masked man had Hurricane Helms back. She's like, okay, strange, but okay, where we go with this? Unmask, and it's Gangrel.
It was really, really odd. Like, oh, I love the Hurricane. What the hell is he doing here? It's basically as hostage, pretty much.
Yeah, and then just got Gangrel saying, you know, there's no loyalty, and it's like, I guess, and that's like a homage to the kind of like new brood he had in the Attitude Era, I guess. If you remember that, of course, obviously you know the first brood, but do you know the new
first
brood?
brood?
Yes.
The new brood.
Yes. Yep. Really weird. That was a storyline that actually not a lot of people, I only really noticed a couple like months ago, so I've been watching it. So and obviously that, and obviously he kind of took him out in a sort of situation where he followed Hurricane into the Sam Guevara chuck Hurricane into the Lake of Reincarnation. Then he came back for some reason as someone. I don't know if it's just himself or what. I don't know what that was.
It was one of his personas. I can't remember which one it was though. Was that not Gregory Helms? Was it?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't know. It was weird.
I was waiting for the catchphrase though. So why have you not called me? Why have you not done this? What's up with that?
Well, he kind of did. I forgot to say. It's like was he released Hurricane? It's like said, where have you been for 2 years? And it's like I said, well, you know, long-term storytelling. You know, we're busy.
Right. Long-term storytelling. I think that's when he was. Sugar Shane Helms. I think that's what the persona was.
Okay, but maybe I'm just not caught up on Hurricane, Helms's personas. So, but I just find it. I just like that kind of. You said earlier, it's like the fourth wall break. You know, like why is it? You know, long-term storytelling. You know, add some things. Why haven't you called me for 2 years? So what happened? But and then it kind of drifted towards like back to the ring with like everyone was fighting. Gangrel was on Sam Ortiz, and it was basically like a constant fight between all of them. Then it kind of drifted towards that. There was a bit when it was like basically the inner circle beat the crap out of everyone, and then it was a situation where basically like 3-on-1 3-on-1 on Matt Hardy, dragging himself like someone says like a serial killer type situation, So he's dragging himself. He's got 3-1s thingy. Sammy Guevara can't pick up like a crowbar, like a sledgehammer type situation, It's like he's just when you think Matt Hardy's down out, and then all of a sudden he finds himself in what's he called it? The was it Dome of Deletion? I think
Dome of Deletion.
And so it got a bit sick when Sammy Guevara tries to go in, and it's like a random bolt just falls down. It could hit him on the head, but okay, because that's just you're just like fine, okay. But I'm used to this kind of craziness, but okay, just a random bolt. It's very horror. It's how it works in horror, but as you said, it went from fun to being really uncomfortable very quickly. Yeah, then obviously they got into the World Edition. Obviously now it is just Sammy and Matt Hardy. Sammy Guevara done this thing I've never seen before, where they undo the buckles of the ropes and uses that kind of thing that holds them together as like a weapon. I don't think I've seen that before. I think that's the first time I've seen anyone do that, I think. So that was different. But then obviously we got the bit that was kind of uncomfortable where obviously mysteriously there's 2 tables set up and the ladder was mysteriously set up.
A very giant ladder. I was half expecting, like, oh, what if Jeff Hardy turns up? It's like, oh no, because then there'll be huge legal issues regarding contract.
Oh, why did he sign? Anyway, but yeah, so went outside and obviously set up the table. Obviously Sammy goes from the top, hits I think, was it a swanton bomb? He done his own version of it. Even hit his own
swanton.
I think he done his own twist of fate as well. It was also nice. I think it was early in the match. But yes, and obviously then Matt Hardy just got up, got the win. Obviously now there's only 1 rope, not 3, because reasons. So so obviously you got Sammy Guevara on the air, on the apron with 1 rope, and then all of a sudden you just got Matt Hardy doing a spear through these 2 tables, and again it got uncomfortable, as we said after that.
Yeah, it's good. Just don't smack your head on the concrete, please. I mean, I liked the if they could just end there where you throw the chair into his face. It's like, okay, that's a nice receipt. That's a bit of payback from obviously the botch that happened, which busted Matt Hardy open, and which was kind of like a happy accident. Extended the feud. Just do that. Twist of fate, 1, 2, 3, sorted. But basically doing a concerto to the concrete. Like, ooh, it's a bit much there. Face Hardy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you got Edge that done it to Orton at WrestleMania, but I don't know. It's just you got to be able to see. You saw, I think it was actually blood on the back of his head. I think.
Yeah,
it was actually really uncomfortable. Like he had a bruise on his front on his shoulder as well. But then obviously he done the concerto. Rolled him up, got the pin, got the win, and I'm assuming won the feud. So.
Well, I imagine Sammy's been deleted for a while, I guess. So, Inner Circle, that's another kind of segue. Inner Circle will have a new member now. So, there's a spot open for a while if Sammy Guevara wants to sell that injury or that death, basically.
Good. That's a nice segue. I wasn't even planning that one. Was it
2 great segues by me.
Oh God! It's, if this was getting any money, you're earning every penny at the moment, man. With them, two good segues there. But I have to just finish off the talk of the match first, though, before we go. But so that, as you said, Sammy Guevara is probably somewhere being done.
Dead.
Yeah, well, to be fair, he is put in the trash. Was like garbage, basically put in the bin, chucked him away. It's kind of messed up when you think about it. Just continue to kill the guy, put him in the bin, chuck him up onto a truck, and then just drive him away to an unknown location. It's like, you're the faces, right? You're supposed to be the good guys. It's like, that's a bit messed up, but isn't it? That's a bit crazy.
Yeah.
But
a little bit.
But so I guess in Matt Hardy's, would you say Matt Hardy needed? Do you think him winning was far? Are you any problem with that, or do you think it's fine?
Well, it's an elite deletion match. It is this match, so I've got no problem with him winning. But if they wanted to do an elite deletion, they probably should have done it first, like without the false count anywhere. Unless this is just a reason to write off Sammy for a bit because of MJF joining.
Well, we're set up. I guess we just have to go straight into that, because the stuff I want to talk about next kind of can only be talked about when we talk about the other match. So, because obviously you said there's new spot opening now, so possibly. So obviously just finish it off. Yeah, I think it was a crazy match. It might have gone a bit overboard and got uncomfortable, but I was still thoroughly entertained. For 25 minutes.
Yeah, went on for a bit too long. Should have probably been about 15. It dragged a little bit.
But I think it was fun. I think it's one of the better ones I've seen over the years.
Not the best cinematic match of the year.
No, but it's definitely up. It's definitely not the worst. I've seen some bad ones this year. But anyway, yeah, so segue into the next match we have is Chris Jericho versus MJF, with the stipulation that if MJF wins, he and Wardlow join the Inner Circle.
Originally, I thought it was just MJF, but no, it's a double whammy. You get Wardlow as well.
Well, to be fair, it's like if we lose one, get two. So it's a good.
There we are.
It's a good deal. But yeah, so we've got, again, it's this match. Got to talk about the build-up. I mean, interesting build up. I got to be honest. Every promo backstage segment, it was gold, pretty much. The bit where was it MJF give her Inner Circle jackets.
Apart from Sammy Guevara.
He's like, oh man, I forgot. Oh, it was in there when I packed it. It's like, yeah, sure it was MJF. Sure it was. Yeah, obviously this all I forgot to mention. It all started from MJF's loss to MJF's loss to John Moxley. I think it was it?
Yeah.
Double or Nothing, was it?
Last one, All Out.
All Out, yeah. So basically lost that, so he'd done the whole kind of like, playing on the kind of election type thing. It's like, I'm going to challenge, that kind of stuff. That was really fun. So he kind of, he realised that he might need some help. So it was kind of a segment saying he's always thought himself as a lone wolf, but now he needs some help.
Yeah.
So there was a nice thing, who was he going to join? But then obviously it started, and then he had a segment basically, it was, we went for the Inner Circle and done the whole the whole thing with. So are you saying do you want to join the Inner Circle?
Are you asking me to join the Inner Circle? Do you want to join the Inner Circle? Are you asking me to join the Inner Circle?
That segment was great. It's just like a nice little segue. It's nice little continuity a little bit there, because like they do remember that, like for that months ago.
That little tease, I think it was like one of the first episodes of Dynamite. I think it was when they had that interaction. Yeah,
well, it was when he turned on Cody. It was that.
Yeah.
So and obviously had the bit with I think it was the Jericho's 30th anniversary, and kind of done the thing where he got him a picture of himself, as you do, because
they had the wonderful steak dinner segment, so they're trying to like out macho each other. Oh, I'll have it well done. No, scratch that. I'll have that medium well. No, I'm gonna have that medium. Scratch that. I'm gonna have it medium rare. Well, I'm gonna have it rare. Like, you can't get any bloodier than that. And it comes on the plate. This is disgusting. And that's song and dance routine. I'm not a fan of musical theatre at all, or that kind of. I can appreciate that genre of music, but I think it fits so well. I thought it was fantastic, and the way they're dancing with the ladies there, and then they just drop them on the floor. MJF's got a good set of lungs on him. He can sing.
Yeah. I got about my first reaction was like kind of, as I always do with segments that are a bit out of blue, like the confused face, like.
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
What is this? It was fine. Maybe I'm just I could totally understand that they were trying something new, and it was it definitely worked for kind of what they are. But I don't know if I just don't love it as other people. Maybe it's just I just don't have a.
I really enjoyed it,
but I totally get why people enjoy it, because it's just like it's just they've gone for something really. They've completely what's the word I'm looking for? Subvert our expectations of what we're expecting to be, and then you've done this, and it's like, okay. Maybe it's because I was traumatized as a kid, because I listened to my parents love musicals, so maybe it's when I see musicals I'm like, I don't want musicals in my wrestling, go away. So I don't think it's anything to do with the quality, because it was fun.
They could have played really safe and been like really easy, where they had their steak dinner and discuss some things about the Inner Circle, then the bill comes that no, you pay it, no, I'll pay it, no, I'll pay it, no, you pay it, that kind of thing. They could have played it safe, but the song and dance was great.
I'm getting credit for that. I mean, he said it's a thing that they like to try something different, and then when they do it, they go balls to the wall to it. They're not messing around; they just go for it. And 9 times out of 10, they usually pull it off. And this day, it did work. It's just I'm just not a big fan of musical stuff. So
neither am I. But this worked, I think, and it was the perfect style. It was that kind of class. That genre has, it fits so well. I couldn't see them doing like a kind of Fozzy or metal kind of thing. They could have done like a mashup where Jericho's doing a kind of like an Aerosmith kind of ballady kind of number, and MJF sticks to that big band jazz kind of swing vibe. Yeah,
I mean, it could have. I would have been. I mean, just for the sake of going to go there, it's like if you're going to do that, you could always do a thing like. Continue the rivalries, like he does the classy music, and then Jericho does the kind of, as you said, like does the metal stuff, and it's like both of it's like a West Side Story situation where they're both facing each other, trying to outdo each other, maybe.
Yeah.
But then this did work. I don't know.
Here's one for another segue. So we've got singing numbers from the wrestlers. Now we've got singing from the fans with the entrances.
Yes.
again, you've got the heel dynamic of Jericho and MJF, but it's always best to have a face heel. Jericho was going to be the face. It's been 30 years since he started wrestling, and his theme song's great. You know,
I love every minute. I sing that every time it's on.
Yeah, I always do as well. And you've got 1,000 fans in attendance, and you think once all the fans are allowed back in, the roof's going to come off the place. They're going to be singing Fozzy. That's going to be a regular thing, I think.
No, you can see, and you can see
singing that chorus,
and you can see Jericho's face every time. It means
it's like, man, yeah.
It means the world to him. You can see it on his face.
Yeah, whether it's in the ring or on the stage, like you got fans singing your song, like that's good.
Because it's like you think like, I've got something here. But it's a catchy tune, man. It's cool stuff. But it's every time. I know fact if we went when we go back to the old viewing parties, hopefully very soon. If you ever want to watch an AEW one, we'd be singing that with top of our lungs. We would be. Yeah. Such a cool song. But so the build up was good, really good. The match though. Not so much.
I can't really remember too much about it.
Well, I've got sub notes on it, but again, it's very. Maybe it's because it doesn't have that kind of. It was very slow. The pace was very slow paced, really.
Although it was great to see Jericho do some of his high flying offense. So his lion salts, for example, I can still do it, no problem.
I mean, a Hurricane Rana he down from the top. It was like you expect it to be like I'm not saying he's old, but he's getting on, to do them kind of moves.
Well, he's been doing it for 30 years.
I know. It's like, he turned 50, I think. To yesterday, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Happy birthday to Chris. Happy birthday to Chris Jericho.
Happy birthday to Chris Jericho.
Of course.
Have a little bit of a bubbly.
Indeed. Oh God, I've got some bubbly right now. Yeah, maybe.
Bubbly.
Anyway, but maybe I should get their version. Maybe I should get a little bit of bubbly and actually get the actual thing.
Yeah, it only costs about $25-$30 a bottle.
No,
limited, but it'd be great to have.
Yeah, but maybe it could be the New Year's thing. Maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, when he obviously the high flight, he done the Hurricane or the. But it was a lot of it was basically very. I think I listened to an interview with MJF. He likes them kind of slow matches. It seems like they worked for his pace. The kind of because I've seen the interviews. Obviously, he plays it straight, so he's still the dickish MJF. But I think I listened to a Stone Cold Steve Austin one where some of the greats he likes the kind of like slow methodical type matches. So it explains why this match was kind of his pace.
Sure.
But again, it wasn't easy on the eye. I mean, you got most of it, which is basically there was a bit where Jericho hit the Judas effect outside, and basically he missed it and hit his elbow on the post, and basically MJF was kind of working on that for most of it.
Yeah, well, that is his. That was his finisher. That arm breaker. Yeah,
and basically he always said he'd do anything to win. So in some ways you were expecting cheating a little bit. Yeah, when he had this bit, he had some cool bits. He had the bit with he tried to go for the cold breaker but couldn't hit it. I think it was on the Jericho was on the outside. I think on the second rope, tried to hit it, but Jericho countered it. Of course, it's his move. They've done this really cool thing called Heat Seeker. I think it's like a power driver
draped on the rope. Yep.
I mean, that's what again. That always look devastating. Love power drivers, don't they? It's like we were talked about in this entire show.
They do. I think was this the first AEW show where we didn't see a destroyer? I know.
We did see a destroyer.
Darby Allin, I think Darby Allin did do one, but it wasn't like a traditional Canadian destroyer.
No, it's like that move that was it. Cena used to do all the time, or when Dusty Rhodes did it.
A bit of a sunset flip, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that kind of move. But yeah, I'm surprised as well. So, but yeah, so again, I think MJF was trying to going into Jericho's playbook a little bit because he did try to do a lion salt as well.
Yep.
I can't believe we missed it. We forgot to just briefly talk about the bit where imitation at the beginning with MJF coming out and Jericho's kind of like Jericho pose.
Yeah, you knew it was MJF from the moment that happened. It was like, come on, of course it is.
I know, but it's just like the way it's just like it's basically like he's mimicking him or mocking him. But yeah, I kind of like that with jackets. I forgot about it. It was really kind of nice homage, I guess. But yeah. Jericho hit the cold breaker, had a bit with cold breaker. Obviously, had a bit with was it called the Salt of the Earth finisher? Basically, like it's a armbar, basically. Pushed it back. Obviously, didn't work. So was 15 minutes into that match, and then but the really finish was kind of like the bit where Wardlow came out. This time he didn't chuck the wing. This time he just gave it to him. No. So he's learned from his mistakes.
And Jericho has a plan as well, expecting MJF to cheat. Gets tossed the bat, which is good. I can't remember what the name of the bat was.
Oh God. I can't remember now, but it's got a cool name. But so he chucked the bat, and obviously the ref is distracted by Wardlow. So just about to hit it, and then as I said, what I think boring out is his anniversary. I think his anniversary is coming up soon of his sort of passing. Unless it's already happened. So obviously a little Eddie Guerrero, bit of lying, cheating, and stealing. Fell on the floor, act like Jericho was like, what the hell? Like, it's like, the usual, like, reaction. Like, I didn't hit him, I didn't hit him. And then just for that distraction, he done a roll up. Jericho didn't see it coming. 1, 2, 3. MJF wins and is now a part of the Inner Circle.
Ooh.
So, either way, the match wasn't exactly great. It was good. No. It was fine. And I think it is a perfect example of a match. Like, build's great, match not so much.
The result was right. The right person won. Now it's we'll see where it goes. I can see it going one or two ways. Either Sammy Guevara's out for a little bit, that opens room for MJF, and so he lingers around there for a bit. MJF's got his own protection in Wardlow, so in case Jake Hague or Santana Ortiz try to take matters into their own hands, because they weren't fans of him joining from the get-go.
Well, we had that tag team match.
Or
show.
Or alternatively, MJF has won the match, so now they're going to have the celebration of joining the Inner Circle in the ring or whatever. Welcome MJF. Then MJF just says, actually, nah, you're all right. I don't want to join the Inner Circle.
He would do that, right?
I think he would. I generally think he would do that.
He would, but I've got to be honest, the idea of having like some sort of like coup d'etat from within, of like MJF slowly booting out Chris Jericho, and kind of taking over the Inner Circle is way, because again Jericho has shown it obviously with he could do the veteran face thing very well. So I don't know if that's what they're doing, but the good thing about the storyline, it can go so many different ways. That's very intriguing. But the Eddie Guerrero homage, it was interesting. I didn't obviously we looked it up and kind of talked about it before we recorded. That's obviously it's been like how many years now since obviously he sadly passed.
2005, so 15 years.
Oh God, we do miss Eddie Guerrero to this day.
Yeah,
it's too sad. But that was a nice homage to him. Kind of like, and it did work on the thing MDF said he'll do anything to win. So I was hoping it'd be like, to be fair, when you say anything, when I think of someone says anything, that means I always think someone's going to resort to brass knucks. Cheating.
Yeah. There's going to be some kind of cheating, but how far extent are they going to cheat? Is it a fact of like maybe even injuring Chris Jericho to become the leader of the Inner Circle?
Maybe. I mean, but it's so much potential. But I just think we all wanted that. So now we're going to have months of just awesome promos by two of the best in the company, fighting off against each other. Maybe wrestling control. But it's been great. I mean, I got to be honest. I think putting them two together is a genius move. And obviously with Sammy, probably wouldn't talk about now, Sammy Guevara being out. Maybe it's like a situation like Sammy Guevara's out, MJF takes his spot, and then kind of they become bigger than they ever have, and then kind of Sammy Guevara comes back saying, "Hey guys," and then they were like, going, "Oh, Sammy, hi," kind of like, and then they kind of like, we forgot about you type thing.
It's like, oh well, there's no room for you here, sorry. But then Sammy Guevara can have a nice, still be a heel, but have his single run, because after everything he's put his body through, I think he deserves a nice single run. He's taken a few losses. Hasn't hurt his cred too much. But be good to see him being pushed now, I think. Yeah,
well, this is just an option now. Maybe like Sammy Guevara had his spot and it's been taken by MJF, and now he wants it back, and then that might start a feud. Yeah. I don't know. But again, it's got potential. But yeah, so he's in the Inner Circle. So that's going to make Inner Circle's kind of been, I wouldn't say treading water since obviously Jericho lost the title. So it'd be nice to see it back kind of prominent again, top of the card type thing, the most interesting story. So But yeah, but match not amazing, but they said the result was correct. So, but yeah, so we've done it. We've got to the main event.
Here we are.
Yes, we've got. So this is a long. You do not want to know how long we've been talking about this.
We haven't quit though.
No,
we haven't quit. Although
nice.
One person did.
Very nice, very nice. That's
one person did.
There you go. That's free now, mate. You know, you gotta calm it down. You gotta calm it down. What? One, two, but three. That's too.
Come on.
That's too much, man.
Shake it once, that's fine. Shake it twice, that's okay.
Three times, mate. Unbelievable.
Come on.
But anyway, yeah. So this is obviously I Quit match for the AEW World Championship between Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. Again, a really good build here. Same with kind of the match we just talked about. The build up to this match was pretty damn good. I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, Eddie Kingston's one of those where I didn't expect him to be in the World Championship picture. It was nice to see him appear and challenge Cody for the TNT. As I said before, he's one of the best on the mic in the industry today.
100% agree.
I liked but I didn't realize they had that much history and making it personal. Especially that go home edition of Dynamite where they got literally face to face, nose to nose.
So good, so good.
But it was very good. However, then it got a little bit melodramatic, a little bit soap opera. More than anything, not because of what was said, but more of how it was staged. So Eddie Kingston like having to turn away, and Jon Moxley talking about Eddie's mother. Behind his back. I thought it was a little bit cheesy, but as soon as they got face to face, it's similar to when Moxley and Tomohiro Ishii went face to face for the first time. They just got in each other's faces straight away, like, I'm looking forward to this match now. Yeah,
it's because it's got the history, but it's like the intensity of the promos they were doing.
The intensity was great. Yeah, talking over each other as well. It felt like a legit conversation. Or legit confrontation.
Yeah, it's like, do you know how much I love that? It's like two things in wrestling I never understand. It's one, why do people? I know it's polite this, but when someone's talking crap about you, why don't you stop them? And two, why is it when someone leaves the ring and you're and you're standing in the ring, why don't you just go and keep chasing them instead of just standing there like they've got away? It's silly things in wrestling, but yeah, I like that kind of talking over kind of thing.
I like the little stipulation as well where they said they wouldn't touch each other, they wouldn't come to blows. I like that.
I would have liked that to be longer.
I like that to be longer. It was similar to what I liked about the build up to Austin and Triple H No Way Out 2001. They said you can't touch each other. You touch each other, you're fired. This match isn't going ahead. I think they'd be fired, or the match wouldn't go ahead. But yeah, they're not allowed to make any physical contact at all. But what they could do is like, attack their friends. Just try and goad them into attacking them, just really piss them off, which they could have played with earlier. They had a few more weeks to do so.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like it was tagged on, wasn't it? Just felt like it tagged on.
Yeah,
I would have liked to have been a bit more because there was a lot of they could work into it. But yeah, yes. So yeah, great build. Again, no surprise we got Jon Moxley. He's been pretty solid as champion so far. Don't think I've ever seen anything. Don't think I've seen him have a bad match yet, or have like a boasting of being good quality. That's kind of I like. So, and then obviously Eddie Kingston is just. I've only seen him briefly on NWA when he was in Power, so that's why I saw him. And then, I was like, oh, he's good. But then when I saw him now in AEW, it's like, yeah, this guy is great. This guy could talk you into a building. Seriously, like the guy.
Oh yeah.
The guy is just amazing. So. So I was intrigued to see because obviously it seems like they're very similar styles, maybe you would say.
Both brawlers for sure.
So it had a potential to get violent and get very. Again, I liked it. I finally like an idea where an I Quit match. It got brutal. When was the last time I haven't seen a brutal match since like the Attitude Era, of like an I Quit match gets like this bloody, and this over the top.
I don't think it was as barbaric as last year's Lights Out match, but
probably had to tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, probably.
They got fined last time, remember? I'm sure it's this time last year they did the same thing with the Moxley and Kenny Omega match, and they got fined by the state. It was like it was too violent or something.
Wow.
So it's like, and us wrestling fans, I remember it's like, that's violent? You haven't seen violent. I mean,
oh, You grew up with ECW, and we had the wrestling channel when it was back on Sky. We had CCW on, just daytime television CCW. Like, my God, it's like 3:00 in the afternoon. I'm watching this brutal hardcore wrestling.
You guys, it's like you're seeing people going through like tables, smashing windows over each other, like fucking everything. Maybe it's just like people are not used to it because I think they use WWE kind of violence. So it's like when they see this, they're like, "What the hell is this?" But it's like if you actually look at the history of wrestling, this is tame. That is tame.
It's tame
compared to the kind of. I mean, just watch any Triple H Mick Foley match from 2000. I mean, that was bloody. I mean, so I think they had to tone it down a little bit this year, but they still had a bit of blood. Yeah, it got good. Obviously, at the first it was just a good old-fashioned fist fight. They had very, as I pointed out, New Japan very like bits where they're both egging each other on to slap each other, hit each other. That I know it's not a New Japan thing, but they always have that in a New Japan match. I'm sure sometimes. Where it's like a bit when it's like, yeah, okay, you hit me, okay, cool, and then you hit me, and like who can hit the hardest?
Yeah, it's the like bravado. Like, I'm not going down. The chops, the elbows. See, you can get the stiffest shot in to try and get an advantage. Yeah,
pretty much. Yes, we had some stuff like a lot of tossing chairs in people's faces in this match. I think it was like 3 times in the match, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so what else we got? We got. It's nice to see that we use a barbed wire bat, and you actually use it in the most barbaric way.
Yeah. And what's quite nice as well is if you're wrapping barbed wire around yourself, that is going to hurt. When you punch someone, it's going to hurt you kind of more than it hurts your opponent. It's a risk. And sometimes we don't see that. We just see, but he's wrapping it around his arm going, Jesus Christ.
It's like, what are you doing, man? Are you insane?
Wrap it around you. Yeah, you got a barbed wire baseball bat, you wrap it around your wrist.
I know, it's just like, and also we found out was it John Moxley got busted open first. That's no surprise. But when he got the barbed wire, I think it's like, I like it when, I'm not a barb, I'm not messed up on it, but it's just when if you're going to bring a barbed wire bat or 2x4 or whatever into the match, you've got to you got to use it, but use it like,
you got to use
it barbarically.
It's like the drawing pins as well.
That's like, it's like literally that. What was it? It had everything you'd want in kind of like that extreme kind of match. It had the barbed wire bat, had the blood, had the chairs. It had, obviously, we talk about the tacks. I mean, of course they had. I love the way when they got the bag out. It's like, what's in the bag? We're like, come on, man.
It's like, unless it's Jake the Snake Roberts, it's probably a snake. But otherwise, it's definitely drawing pins.
It's definitely tacks, mate. It's what it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, we had a bit of suplex. The move where you set up two chairs back to back, then you just like chuck him. I mean, the way kind of like Eddie Kingston landed on his back. Was it Eddie Kingston? Yeah, landed on his back.
Yeah.
Oh, that must have hurt.
Yeah, John Moxley countered it for Eddie Kingston, suplex him onto the chairs. As the commentator said, there's no wrestling school that teaches you that.
No. You know. I mean, what else have we got about? Was it when he? Obviously, I'm just paraphrasing those stuff. Is like a bit with the putting the barbed wire around his fist, Eddie Kingston, and kind of punched straight punches with the barbed wire in his fist. That looked nasty. that looked
ouch,
proper hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously we and obviously obviously the bit where obviously I would think Eddie Kingston, but I guess he was smart enough to wear like not wear like a top or something around his back, so it wouldn't hurt as much. So obviously John Moxley not so smart. So obviously he was going to be the one that was going to go on attacks, right? Oh my God, that never gets comfortable to watch ever. Never.
No.
Was it? He even got like some on his head, like in his skull. It's uncomfortable, man.
Yeah, like some of his head. Ow.
It's just like it was ridiculously brutal. Then obviously got a bit with Eddie Kingston. Got the was it alcohol or kind of like the kind of was it? I don't know what it was, like some like sort of I think it's like rubbing alcohol type thing. I don't know if it's a thing you use when you're trying like got marks or something to try and stop
it was
the
there for the referee. Yeah, the referee got it out because obviously he's wearing gloves, got to stay clean, there's blood involved. He just left it there. It's there for sanitizing reasons. I mean, at least John Moxley is not going to have any kind of infections from the tacks wherever they have been. He's got a nice clean back and nice clean open wounds,
but it must have hurt like hell. But
Yeah.
I got better like that. It's like he saw that. It's like anything he could find. It's like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Let's use this because that was sting like hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously we got it just got by that. Obviously, Kingston tried to use the sleeper that John Moxley used on him in their last title match on him. But yeah, well, obviously the bit at the end was just the bit where using John Moxley finally got the barbed wire, bound it round his fist, and then kind of done his like kind of sleeper hold with that barbed wire, like going against was it Eddie Kingston's throat. Or like his kind of like face. I would say I quit after that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, probably. I mean, they were pointing out like you can't fully choke them out because they can't say I quit. You know, he says I quit. I mean, I think he was selling like there was some kind of like internal bleeding or something like that as well. May have applied maybe kind of like a bear hug into that move as well. But yeah, I'd definitely say I quit. If someone had like barbed wire around that way, it's like yeah. Probably. Yeah. And he's not letting go. I can't move.
It's a great ending to a great match, to be fair. I mean, I enjoyed it. I think it had the brutality it needed to be for a match like this between these two. And it's, you know, as personal as it was, you know, it was as brutal as it needed to be, I think.
Yes.
I
think so.
I love the bar. It makes sense because they both come from the same background. It's kind of like hardcore wrestling anyway, so it wouldn't be surprised if they went against each other. It was going to get brutal. But yeah, so obviously no one was expecting Eddie Kingston to come out of this on top, really, were they? I mean,
I don't think so.
So,
no.
But I mean, it's just another really solid, great match from John Moxley, really. I mean, obviously, what are you thinking of as a champion at the moment? Do you think he's been champion for nearly most of the year now?
It's like 250 odd days, I think, 260 days.
He won it in February, didn't he, with the Revolution? So he's had it for most of the time. So I mean, it's just I honestly think could it be outlandish to say he's probably the best like world champion at the moment, or I think that's a bit too far fetched?
At the moment, out of all the you'd say the big ones, so WWE, AEW, and New Japan. The most like protected card champion, I'd say Moxley. Obviously, the most prestigious is it's up for debate between IWGP and WWE. The most decorated is obviously Orton, but the most like protected champion, Moxley. Yeah, I think they've done a really good job, and I think they've done a good job in making his opponents go on to do good things as well. They've not been booked as like jobbers or anything, just constantly lost. They've done pretty well, I think, overall with like all the rankings and the bookings. Apart from people who are like obvious jobbers, people who are like mid cards still have like a decent record. Yeah,
I mean it's good. It's a good match, like sometimes when they put like 50-50 booking, sometimes you always think it makes people look weak, but the way they do it with the ranking system, I think it makes them look strong.
Yeah. And with 50-50 booking, if you got two guys who are like really good, like two of the best wrestlers in the world, it doesn't matter too much. I don't think if the title fluctuates or they keep getting wins over each other, if they're two of the best and you're selling the story that way, it works.
Yeah, but I mean, it was 21. I think it's like I quickly showed his record. He's won 21 because it was 20 matches prior to this one that he's won consecutively.
Yeah,
and obviously now this is 21. I mean, that's it's nice to see that it's like a good record where you're champion, but you don't lose. So when you do lose,
yes.
It's good when you lose your title.
It's a big deal, and I think Omega is going to be the one to topple him to become the champion. So the Elite hold all the gold.
It makes sense. I mean, it
makes sense.
I think it's like out of all of the kind of people that could have contended to take the title from him, I think Kenny Omega's the only one that can continue this kind of. You know what I mean? It's like kind of like. It's all good who has the title, but you got to make a credible threat to take the title to keep that momentum of strength going. They did that with Chris Jericho had the title and he had a good reign. To give it to John Moxley, he had a good reign. So to give it to Kenny Omega, it keeps the kind of quality going basically. So it's like strong champions. Strong champions.
It also eliminates the kind of commentary about they can only use previous WWE guys to get the product over, which they don't need to do. There's about time they have. I mean, they have now already. They've got indie darlings in Young Bucks, Darby Allin, holding their other titles. So get another big old indie darling, alternative wrestling darling in Kenny Omega. They don't just have to rely on previous WWE talent.
Well, to be fair, I think with AEW that kind of sentiment is kind of unjustified for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because and I don't want to sit there because some people might say, "Oh, I just love AEW." It's like, well, yes, I do. So I'm not.
Well, of course. Yeah.
But I think the only using that with TNA, it was that because they pushed them to the moon when they signed them most of the time. With them, it's like example, was it Miro? Miro, yeah.
Miro, yeah.
He signed for them, but he's in a feud. Again, I'm not loving the feud, but he's not exactly pushed him to the moon. They're just ex WWE guys that just happen to be.
Yeah.
It's like, was it Sean Spears?
Yeah.
Where's he been? But it's like only ex WWE guys you got was it Chris Jericho and John Moxley. Yeah. That's it, I would say.
You got Brody Lee. I mean, the only exception was probably Brody Lee, where he came straight away for the title shot. But now he's leader of Dark Order. He was the second TNT champion. He's still got good cred.
But I mean, I don't mind that because it's like It's like what? So something like just because of the XWD, what are possibly blacklisted? It can't be pushed. But if they're good,
exactly,
it doesn't matter. I mean, I think it's like. I think also people might forget it's probably a really awesome place to work at the moment, AEW.
Probably. I'd imagine so.
Because it sounds like it. Because apparently from, I think it was Chris Jericho or something, like the way they book things is very, the wrestlers create their own storylines. And kind of, and it gets, they don't have a creative team, if you know what I mean.
No.
So it must be like creatively very fulfilling in that company at the moment. Mm-hmm. So it's like, yeah, you could be doing AEW Dark, but you're still probably happier than you would be at sadly WWE.
Yeah, they still have like some storylines on Dark. I mean, Scorpio Sky building up his win record, and he was quietly doing that until he called out, like, how many wins do I have to get a title shot? And then he got his title shot. You've got like people you haven't seen for a while; they're getting wins on Dark. It's still building records. You've got the storyline Brandon Cutler and Peter Avalon. That was on Dark. That was a good story, which is now finished.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just if I had a choice, but I always think it just the way AEW feels. It feels like a company. It's got that. I don't want to use the old youthful, but it is a company that's obviously.
Oh, it's still young. It's just over a year old.
Yeah, well, it doesn't feel like that. That's the beautiful thing. It's like it's been here for a year, but it feels like it's always been here.
Yeah, it took a good, I'd say 9 to 10 months to figure out. They're still figuring out what company they are, what they want to do, how they want to present it, and now they know what they're about. Now, I think
around about probably the start of the pandemic, probably I think they started to get their footing. I think.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, it's just I don't know. It's good stuff, man. I mean. I think what they do well, when they do things well, they do it really well. They still have I don't think they have the same problems with that. They understand when they get things wrong, they change it. I'm just but it'd be interesting to see with Kenny Omega. Anyway, whenever I guess in that match would be at Revolution, so they've got it'd be interesting to see how they build that up. So so that's it, man. We did it. We've got through to the end.
We got through it. Nearly, we're nearly 3 hours in, unedited.
Oh my word!
But we got there.
Oh God, what have I done?
It's the last pay-per-view of the year, for AEW, so it's got to be a big one.
Yeah, well,
special.
Well, to be fair, there's a lot of pauses, so that'd be probably like 2.5 hours, but that's fine.
Have fun with that.
Thanks, man. Again, it's like I don't know when this will be out. Because that's the problem with these things. Like we do it, but then it takes a while to edit, so it's like I can't get them out quickly.
Well, fortunately, there's a lockdown, so we don't have much else on.
No, we don't. But just to find, I guess we have some final thoughts. So overall, what do you think of Full Gear? Was it? Is it what people consider the best pay-per-view they've ever done so far?
It's difficult. It's a really good card. I think it's the best card they've had. Like before the show, or it's the the best performance. I'm not quite sure. Solid show, yeah, I think so. There were matches that delivered. Obviously, Omega and and Paige did. The tag team match, the TNT Championship match. There were some odd matches, or like matches that were undelivered in MJF and Jericho, but Elation Deletion was odd. That had its moments. Still things to work on. I don't think it was a perfect show, but was it an entertaining show? Did it flow well? I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a good. I think it's just. It was like 2 or 3. 3 hours was it? I think it was the pay-per-view.
Just over. I think it was like 3.5 hours. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, put it this way: 3.5 hours of watching this, or 3.5 hours watching a slog of a WWE pay-per-view when it's bad. I'd rather watch 3 hours of this.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah!
It's 100%. It's just like, again, opening match was great. Loved it. I could have seen them with these guys wrestle probably the next 10-15 minutes just because they were that good. Yeah. Same
with the tag team match.
Definitely, 100%.
I'd like them to go for an hour, or do 2 out of 3 falls.
Well, I think that also proves how good it is. This is keeping fans wanting more. So I guess that just shows that give us a little tease. This match was kind of like a show, but then they've still got so much more they can do. So that's why I liked it. I was Cassidy versus John Silver surprised me how better. I thought it'd be a good match, but I didn't think it'd be as good as this. I liked it. It's Silver. I'm starting to be a big fan of, and obviously always Cassidy as being a continuously booked well and an awesome person. So, and let's be honest, we all want to be like Owens Cassidy. I know I do. Just sit there,
do nothing, and get cheered for it.
Damn straight, man. Or just sit there, don't care. Or just sit there, and everyone's like, "What? Just put your thumbs up, like, yeah, man." Just chilling out.
Not even putting the thumb all the way up. Just
I love it.
Lifting your forearm up slightly.
Yeah. Anyway, but they're booking him great.
Putting your hands in your pocket.
They're booking him great, man. I mean, he's been so good. But yeah, so that's awesome. Obviously, you got the Cody Rhodes, Darby Allin was a good match. Loved it. Loved the. I can't like surprise. Darby Allin winning's a great thing. I can't wait to see what they do with it.
Loved it.
It's a great moment, and as much as at first I thought the shot kind of pin, when I watched it back, it was really cool. So I enjoyed it. The women's match, Shida versus Nyla Rhodes was pretty decent. I still think they need something else to they need to sunk a bit more to put them up to a better quality, but they're getting better. So I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Obviously, FTR Young Bucks was great. Young Bucks finally get the win, awesome. Legion to Legion, I think I enjoyed it a bit more maybe than you did, because I think I like my crazy wrestling a lot, or stuff that a lot of this stuff made me laugh. So if it makes me laugh, it's a good stance for me. Obviously the Chris Jericho MJF thing really, I think that match, the build up was better than the match, but the right outcome, and the main event delivered in the brutality it needed to be, and John Moxley got the win, and then obviously set up a Kenny Omega. We've got a Kenny Omega John Moxley match to look forward to in 2021. So a lot of positives.
We got through it, dude. We did it.
Yes. We did it, yeah. It's always the slog with us, man, when it comes to our views. Always the same. But yeah, that's what I got to be honest. That's kind of why I done the other show I done last week, because it's like this.
Oh yes, do some plugging of your show. Whilst we're in the plugging section.
Yes, well, basically what I thought for the ages we've always known this us reviewing shows as a monthly thing. So I've always thought to myself, I've always needed something extra that kind of we could do weekly. But obviously timing, having the kind of confidence to do it and kind of figure out what that is has always been a problem. So, and other kind of like confidence building thing with like liking stuff, I thought to myself, well, I could do a show where let's talk about wrestling for, well, I did say an hour, but it lasted more too. But it's basically a show. It's basically called Talking All Things About Wrestling, where I just go through everything in a week. I do AEW, I do NXT, I do the news of the week, and I get some questions. So I got a Q&A that's quite nice. So I'm hoping that'll be a thing that I can do weekly. That could be like an extra treat to the kind of it could be a thing that makes this our little you and me talking about the pay-per-views kind of a bigger deal than it, like it's a big event type thing.
And where can listeners find your podcast as well as our podcast? What kind of platforms could you find them on?
Yes, obviously you find it on Spotify, you find it on iTunes, Google, Google Podcasts, Overcast, you name it. But the main ones you expect to, iTunes, Spotify, Google, They're all on there. So if you want to find it, you just it'll be on. It's under our name, so it's just going to be. It just means you're going to get way more. You're going to get more content from us.
But how would listeners get in touch with us? Do we have an email contact, or do we have any social media pages?
Oh, you're loving this. Yes, if you go on our Twitter at Josh and Stu Pod. Obviously, if you want to check out all stuff, our prediction stuff's on there as well. So obviously, I think you still got to get your prediction table up, unless you put it up beforehand. Is that still working?
Not yet. It will be up very, very soon.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. So yes, obviously you can go with Josh and Stu Podcast at gmail.com if you want to give us an email. Or you can go on our website. If you type in JNS Wrestling Pod on Google, you should be able to find us. That explains how our prediction game works. Talks about like little profiles about us. Our latest reviews, all kinds of stuff. So a lot of ways to find us. I've tried to recently try to have more stuff for people to kind of check out. So I tried my best. Hopefully it's been enough.
Hopefully. Well done. Well remembered.
Hey, I think it's like I doing that live streaming thing for as long as I did.
Yes.
Every time I finished that, I always had to go, well, if you want to find wrestling, go on Josh and Stu Pod or blah blah blah. So it's like it really is true what they say. Repetitiveness is the key. So that's why I sound like I know what I'm doing now. So nice try. Nice try there. I saw your game. I know what you're trying to do.
There we are.
But yeah. So if you want to check us out, go on that stuff. So yeah. So when it comes to pay-per-views, we hopefully will be back for Survivor Series. Unless there's an NXT thing in the middle, I don't think there is. So
I don't think so.
So it's going to be a Survivor Series in a Survivor Series that not exactly the thing I want to say on a podcast, but not looking forward to. But it's one of those things. You never know, it might surprise. But so obviously no NXT this year, so kind of bummed out about that.
Oh.
But we understand. It's kind of understandable why. So we're back for that. I'm going to be back myself to do obviously episode 2 of all things pro wrestling. If you checked out, let me know, because I really want to know what people think about it, because I don't know if it's good or bad. So please let me know. If it's bad, please tell me. So I can get better, please. So, but yes, that'll be up. So obviously that'll be episode 2 will be out, I think Saturday or Sunday. Depends on if I figure out what to do there. So obviously I've done a lot of my own self-plugging. Have you got anything to plug, man?
Because it's lockdown, and a lot of the acting work has paused momentarily. I'm going to be working on some articles on What Culture, so keep an eye out on our Twitter feed at Josh and Stu Pod, as Stu mentioned. Also my personal Twitter account at Joshua Plummer UK. Yeah, you can find all my What Culture articles on there, as well as all the goings on in my professional life as well. So check that out. Obviously, are you near 1 million yet on your What Culture thing? I'm about 800,000, so hopefully in a couple more articles I should reach that 1 million views mark. Hopefully
we get it by the end of 2020 and end the year on a positive. We've already had one.
Let's hope so.
We've had one positive news this week that I won't go into. So hopefully we can continue that good roll of positive news and not, depressing negative news. But anyway, I think we've gone far too long about chatting, so I think
we have.
I think I have to wrap this up. And so anyone, if you've got through this, right, thank you so much.
Well done. And thank you very much for joining us.
Anyone listening, I really appreciate it, because it's like I always feel that I can't. People don't really, go this far. But yeah, so thank you so much. We'll be back. We'll be Survivor Series in a couple of weeks. I think it's like it's the end of the month, so 2 or 3 weeks. So me and Josh will be back for that. Hopefully, minus anything not changing. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I'll be back next the weekend. And so I've been Stuart Van.
I've been Joshua Plummer.
Yep, and have an awesome week, and speak to you guys soon. Bye.
See you soon.